Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. Yes. As you can see, my main man G's not here with me. He had a death in the family, so please send all your love, all your prayers towards him.
Condolences and love, G. Condolences and love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we make sure we do that. But in his stead, I have a worthy substitute. Got my main man Brian Transform. B, what's good?
What's good, my guy? What's good? What's good?
Nothing much, man. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's wait a couple minutes, see if we can get a couple people in the chat. Hopefully, we get some people popping up, and then we can go ahead and kick it. But before we get to that, man, we had some good talk prior to the show popping off, so can't wait to share some of our thoughts with our viewers and listeners. And yeah, we got some good stuff lined up. Gonna talk Patrick Ewing. So normally, in case you didn't know, normally I do a Throwback Thursday segment, but obviously this past Thursday was 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. This past Thursday was 4th of July, so I wasn't able to, I guess I shouldn't say wasn't able to. I didn't do a segment for Throwback Thursday, and we didn't do a show on Wednesday as we often do. Had some different stuff going on, but I'm here tonight, so we're gonna slide that Patrick Ewing in for Throwback Thursday on the first segment, and then we'll go from there, and we will talk we'll talk Paul George and him getting that max. I guess him signing for the max with 76ers, and then we'll talk about Klay Thompson, end of an era, no longer a Splash Brother. I guess he'll always
that's different,
right?
Man. That's
very different.
Wild, man.
Yeah, so we'll talk about him in a new uniform in Dallas, how that affects the Mavs, what we see, how that affects the Western Conference, how that affects your Lakers.
No, let's not dive into that. It's too soon.
Okay. Oh, we got to talk about it. Right. And we're going to talk about the biggest story in sports, LeBron James and his son, Bronny, who coincidentally made his his summer league debut today. And it didn't go too well, but I'm not.
Yeah, it was bad.
You know what though?
You can tell it was timid. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about it. All that comes into it. That LeBron and Bronny thing, that's going to be a serious topic. We got some good stuff there to really get into.
All season.
Yeah, man. So before we get started, let me ask you, bro. I see you got a hat on, says Lakers, and it says champion. So is that your in-season tournament champion?
You need me to zoom in a little bit?
That's your in-season tournament championship?
Nah.
I'm saying y'all hanging banners for that. So I'm just saying.
Hey man, so we're just promoting what the NBA is giving us.
Oh, that's what
the
it is.
NBA wanted to create something. And the Lakers, man, we just got to be the first to do something. You know what I mean?
Oh, y'all got to be the first to do something.
Yeah, got to be the first one. Like, as long as you hear in-season tournament for the rest of your life, the Lakers got the first one.
You know what? I respect that. I do.
Got the first one.
That was the best answer I ever heard on that BS. That was good. That was good. You know what, though? You're right. And I respect being the first one to something. I do. Because the Celtics are the first one to get to 18 world championships. So, I figured I would, so I totally understand and respect what it is to be to be the first one to do something in NBA history. You know what I'm saying?
It's good, man. You got like 12 of them back when
we're not talking about all that, man.
Born.
We're not talking about any of that.
Got it. I got you, brother.
Hey man, look, somebody had to set the tone for the NBA and what it would become and where it would go, and that's us.
Okay.
So I'm good with that,
Okay, Bill Russell out here bullying freaking mailmen and stuff like that, and you.
Hey man,
you want to go ahead, clap?
Hey man, I'm just saying. Quick side note. It's funny that you brought up the Bill Russell piece. So many fans and proponents of the modern NBA talk about how much better the athletes are today versus back then, right? And I've always pushed back on that because I think there's elite athletes in any era, right? It's just a function of today's athletes have the benefit of technology, right? Sports medicine, science, sports science, nutrition, all those things, right? You know that as well as anybody, being a trainer like you are. So you know about all the amazing things that are available to modern athletes that weren't available back then. Anyway, I bring that up because you mentioned Bill Russell, and I thought I just wanted to throw it out there. When Bill Russell left college in 1956, he was the number 7 ranked high jumper on earth.
Wow, really?
Yeah. People don't realize Bill Russell was a freak, right? It's just he was a dude whose team didn't necessarily ask him to score that much. Bill Russell was a freak, though.
Wow, like number 7.
Number 7, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So he went to the Olympics for basketball. Matter of fact, him and Jerry West played on the same Olympic team in Sydney, and they won the gold. And he could have, he could have been a track and field guy in the Olympics as well.
At the same time.
I'm trying to tell you.
That would have been legendary.
That would have been legendary. So this whole business of, the athletes back then were, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Was he an outlier? Probably.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you can't tell me that you had more athletes back then that could have made the Olympics team than now.
I'll agree with you on that. I'll agree with you on that. But if you're ready, looks like it's a little slow trickling in, but if you're ready, man, let's go ahead and get it. Let's start it here. So, first topic, I mentioned that normally I do a Throwback Thursday episode, and the reason for that is we see so much nonsense online right now, especially when it comes to the NBA. For the life of me, I can't figure out why there is this concerted effort, especially by Gen Z and millennial era fans. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, hit dogs holla. But I can't see for the life of me why it is that in order to prop up your era, you have to disrespect what came before. And I think the NBA seems to be like the only sport that does this. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because for some odd reason, to be in the NBA, you have to win a ring. You can't be considered a great unless you win a ring. But I'm like, dang, so we just gonna disrespect Allen Iverson. We just gonna disrespect Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, and all because they couldn't win a ring. Tracy McGrady, those guys, Don Wilkins, like those guys wasn't good,
right?
You know what I mean? So it's all everything was circumstantial because Patrick Ewing. We're gonna talk about this in a moment. He went up against who most considered a GOAT. You know what I mean? What you want Patrick to do about that? I can't.
Right.
I can't. You want me to stop your GOAT over and over and over again? You know what I mean? Allen Iverson. He ran into the best duo that we've ever seen in history, with Kobe and Shaq. You know what I mean? You could say that best duo.
I will say that is an absolutely fair argument. I'm not mad at that. I'm also not mad at the people who say Kareem and Magic. I'm not mad at that either. But what I am mad at is that the two best duos ever both played for the Lakers. I'm not happy with that.
I wouldn't be too mad at that. Yeah.
But no, I got to give respect due where it's that. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, man. So you can't just say that just because they ran into bigger powerhouses that they're not considered great. Like how can we forget Patrick Ewing?
Right.
Collegiate career. Have you forgot what he did in Georgetown? 3 Final Fours.
3 Final Fours in the championship. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Lost against Michael Jordan in this first one. Like, you can't just say that he wasn't great.
Right. You know what? I forgot about that. Mike was torturing that dude since college. You're right.
Torturing since college, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan hit that one shot. What was it, about 18 feet? On that baseline
jumper. That's right.
After that, Georgetown couldn't do nothing after that. It was like, we playing from behind. But yeah, man, it's crazy how we have to make a great by giving him a championship. You know what I mean? Carmelo Anthony, he's not a great, didn't win a championship. Like,
I think that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Did we see Carmelo Anthony play?
Prime Melo was a beast.
Like what? Kobe Melo was a problem in the Western Conference Finals with playing against the Denver Nuggets when them boys were just literally wrestling and playing ball at the same time. Referee for once put the whistle in his pocket and said, "Hey,
right,
and the boys is going at it, man. We're not calling fouls today. The boys is going at it." So,
absolutely. Yeah, no, I feel you. I think obviously so much of that is in the GOAT debate. Like, so you can be great, but I just think that there are levels and there's separators, right? Even among the Hall of Fame guys, there's levels, right? Obviously, there's your Kareem, and I guess LeBron will be on that level based on what he's done in his career. But your Kareems and your LeBrons and your Kobe's and your Michaels, obviously not in that order. Your Magic Johnsons, and then right below that is your Larry Birds and all the rest of the all-time greats. So there are always, when you have these debates and you have these discussions, there's always going to be separators. But back to the original thing, right? So we were talking about Patrick Ewing, and I was thinking about like different guys I could pay homage to, and in the future I'm gonna start getting into some of the older guys. Like how this whole thing started is I did a Rick Barry video, and I got a lot of love from older people who were old enough to have watched Rick Barry play in his prime, right? And so that kind of gave me the idea to start doing Throwback Thursdays and start really paying homage to the guys who laid the way, right? So I've done Rick Barry, I've done Wilt, I've done Kareem, but this is more my era, right? I was born in 1978, so by the time I really started watching basketball, knowing what I was seeing, it's about 88, right? Now I distinctly remember seeing Larry Bird win that final championship in '86, but what am I, 8 years old at the time? I didn't quite know what I was seeing yet. I remember it, but I didn't know what I was seeing. So you now push ahead and you get to the late 80s all the way through the 90s, and that's my era of basketball. And why do I love that so much? That's the big man era. That's when big men were doing their thing. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was at the end, but then you have Patrick Ewing, who came number 1 overall pick in '85, and Dream number 1 pick in '84.
Olajuwon came in,
my guy, right? D-Rob number 1 pick in '87. Of course, the Admiral, he went and did 2 years, 2 years of Navy duty. That dude. People don't even realize
always salute the Admiral.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Hey, big pride right there, man.
People don't even realize how great he was. But back to Patrick Ewing. So that era, and he was one of the best big men of that era in what I believe is the best big man era of all time. So we mentioned Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, the end of Kareem. Obviously, you had Mark Eaton, one of the better shot blockers of all time. Then you go into the early 90s, and you have Mount Mutombo come in. And in 92, you have Shaq and Zoe come in. No, not today. Right. So you have all these great bigs, and Patrick Ewing was battling against all them dudes night after night. And so I wanted to take some time and get this dude his love, because I think people don't realize just how good he was, right? Obviously, he always had knee issues, but when he was young and mobile, probably till about like 93, 94, look at that. Pat was an animal, what I'm saying?
Animal, man.
Yeah.
Animal.
And, you hear a lot of people say, well, he never made first team All NBA and he didn't get Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, you heard all those great Hall of Fame bigs that we brought up. Like, where was he supposed to get these first team All NBAs? And pardon me with the grainy footage. Some of that stuff is from earlier in his career, so that's a little tougher.
Yeah, the new era don't know nothing about that grainy footage.
No, they don't. No, they
don't. VHS tapes was popping.
Right. But no, Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, from his time in college, Georgetown Hoya, they called him the Hoya Destroyer. I believe he was the number 1 overall recruit when he went into college in 81. He was the number 1 overall recruit. He was just he was nasty. And of course, you have the great John Thompson, God bless the dead. And he was able to mold Patrick Ewing into an elite defensive force, to the point that people didn't even know when he got into the league that he had a real jump shot, that he could shoot the ball. And he
developed that, because he didn't really do a lot of that early on in his Georgetown years. Like, a lot of people don't know about Patrick Ewing. He didn't learn basketball until he was like in high school and stuff like that. So he gradually started learning more about the game, because he didn't even want to play basketball as a kid growing up. Like, that wasn't his thing. He wanted more English sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, he came to the States from Jamaica when he was 13, and he was living, I think, in Boston. So obviously, I don't know, if you're a listener, I don't know how much you know about being West Indian or coming from that environment, but the focuses there are cricket and soccer. You're not really thinking hoops like that. Well, maybe now things have changed, but you're not really thinking about hoops like that. You're thinking track and field, you're thinking cricket, you're thinking soccer. And, obviously all that is the British influence. And so basketball is not what you're looking at, but then obviously you become freakishly tall, and some coach is going to grab you and say, hey, get out here. Right. And so
7-foot monster out of Jamaica.
There you go. Yeah, come on over here. Right.
We're going to teach him something.
So Patrick Ewing ends up becoming a monster. He goes to Georgetown University. He plays in 3 Final Fours. He obviously, and we were talking about this just a minute ago, he runs into Michael Jordan in '82. Michael Jordan hits that game.
Jeffrey Jordan.
Jeffrey Jordan. If you're Patrick Ewing, you got to be a good person that you don't hate Michael Jordan's guts, because this dude has been giving you a hassle since you were 18 years old.
And the thing about it, man, it stretches from beyond real life. When you go back and look at Space Jam, who went to go back and get Patrick Ewing his powers back?
Wow.
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. So not only did you rob me of a championship in college,
right?
You robbed me of 5 championship
Five,
opportunities
yes.
in the NBA.
Yes.
Now you got to go get my powers back in your movie.
Right.
What is this?
and think about it. When these guys see each other, you know, because Mike is legendarily a jerk. I'll leave it at that.
So,
when they see each other, you know, Mike laughs at him like, "I got you every time." And the only time you could beat the Bulls is when I wasn't there. You know,
like literally the one time.
Right.
And then he ran against the Dream, and it's like,
man,
you were like, I mean, what you want? What you want from me, man? What more do you want from me? And to make it so, like, he put up legendary performances. Like, we're talking 34-point game, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. Like, I mean, you can't ask no more from him, man. You honestly couldn't. You go back and you look at that roster. That man played with no Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? His best player was John Starks.
Yeah,
how many All-Stars John Starks got?
And then maybe one, maybe two, and then after that, Allen Houston came. But that was when he was, you know, he was starting to get into the backside of his career.
Yeah. I think Latrell Sprewell came in. You had old Larry Johnson. You had one more guy. It was one more guy. I can't remember his name.
Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, Larry Johnson. I think Marcus Camby came there.
But that was like towards the end. Like
that was the end because they went to the finals in '99 in the lockout season against the Spurs. Yeah. But Patrick Ewing, man, that dude. Yeah, he's legit, man. That's an all-time great big. That's a top 10 big man of all time. That's a top 10 shot blocker of all time. That's a dominant rebounder. That's a multiple-time all defense. Never made all defensive first team, but he might have made it once. But you know, he was that dude, man. Patrick Ewing was. He was legit, and I think a lot of times people forget how good he was, and that's sad because, again, to your point, he was Rookie of the Year, multiple-time All-Star. Let's see,
3-time I'm looking second team All Defense.
He never made All Defensive First Team, so that's tough. And his best season, he averaged 29, 11, and was that 4 blocks. So that 89-90 season, he was absolutely dominant. You know? And but he
played all 82 games.
There you go.
Like, come on, man, what more you want from him?
And we're not even going to get into the whole played 82 games piece because you know how I feel about that.
Oh my God, let's stick to paying homage to the great Pat.
Absolutely.
You know, I got a couple of pair of your kicks in my closet right now, Pat.
Oh, you got the Spalding with the 33?
Man, come on now.
You got that?
You run to the closet and go grab my all-purple Pat Ewings, man.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
Yes, man. You got to have a pair of Pat Ewings. You can't ball in them for nothing. You know?
No.
You know what I mean? Having a pair, you got to have a pair of Ewings. You got to have a pair of Barclays. You got to have a pair of Pennies. You got to have a great shoes.
Yeah. But you know, unfortunately, the Patrick Ewings, they weren't made for, you know, the average Joe. You know, they were made for him. Those are big man shoes. But respect too. You know, he got his own shoe, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, if you're in the chat, appreciate you. Make sure you go over to Facebook, no matter where you're watching. If it's not go over to Facebook, go over to YouTube to the Format Podcast page. Make sure you like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. But yeah, we just wanted to take a few minutes and pay homage to the Hoya Destroyer, man. Shout out Patrick Ewing. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but we're two cats who understand how great you were. Obviously, you unfortunately, like a lot of guys, ran into the buzzsaw that was Michael Jordan in his prime. And you know, Mike kept a lot of all-timers from getting championships, but that doesn't make you any less great, Pat. So
doesn't discredit him at all, man.
Not at all.
You can't maintain a level of dominance for 17 years, and then your body finally gives out, but that's Father Time. I mean, that's Father Time. He gave it literally everything he had.
That's right.
Literally everything he had.
That's right.
I mean? From a big man league where you're banging all day. There's, you know what I'm saying, the 3-second rule and all of the, you know, that wasn't really established back then. He could sit down and anchor down there. Like, come on. And then we can't say you failed because we called the other guy you failed to the GOAT. So
facts.
I mean, you absolutely. We ain't gonna blame you for that, brother. You did your thing.
Yo, what's going on, Nick? Appreciate you, man. I think you're new. I haven't seen you before, so Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate your comment. Thanks for dropping in. We got some good stuff for you here tonight, so stick around, man. And absolutely, reason the Monstars stole his talents. Dude was a beast. Patrick Ewing was absolutely that. Yeah, total beast. And again, just want to take a minute and show the Hoya Destroyer some love, man. Oh, and quick side note to that. Another note on that is not just the fact that he was as great a player as he was, but this is something a lot of people outside of the North Atlantic, the Northeast region of the country don't realize. When you have to deal with that New York media day in and day out, that's no joke. Eventually they expect you to get over that hump, and especially you keep failing to what up, my man Sneed? How you doing, brother? They expect you eventually to get there, right? Obviously, everybody knows how great Mike was, but nobody's saying you got to keep losing to the. They weren't expecting him to continue to lose year after year.
Five times.
Right. So he had to. He took it like a man. He sat there in front of the microphone. He didn't blame anyone else. He didn't try to get coaches fired.
What are we talking about here? I think we're switching subjects.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying what
on to something else because
I'm just saying what Patrick Ewing, an all-time great player, didn't do when he didn't get the job done. That's all I'm saying. He didn't run somewhere else and try to link up with somebody. He didn't do that. I'm just saying.
Speak your mind, Bruce.
I'm just saying what he didn't do. So yeah, but we can go ahead and we can go ahead and wrap this segment right here. If anybody wants to call in, if anybody has memories or thoughts about Patrick Ewing as a player and wants to give their take on that and everything that he was able to do, or maybe what he wasn't able to do, love to hear your thoughts on that. That's 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Go ahead, give us a call. We'll wait a minute. See if we get any calls on that before we move into the next topic.
Yeah. I mean, and like another big thing about Pat, while we still on Pat.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing, you cannot talk about the New York Knicks, period.
That's a great point.
Without mentioning his name.
No, you cannot.
The mecca of basketball is where?
Facts. New York City.
New York City. You cannot talk about the Knicks and not mention Patrick Ewing.
No, that's right. That's right.
You can't, man. That's how big of a great man, like great guy, great player, like just took over the Mecca and he ran to the GOAT in Chicago.
Yeah.
He ran to the GOAT in Chicago. You can't. There's not much you can do besides that, especially when you putting 35, 15 rebounds, 4 or 5 blocks, and okay, you know what I mean. I got John Starks over here going 2 for 14, 2 for 15, and I'm like, all right, bro. I got nothing.
Absolutely. It definitely was. He was just great. He's right there with all the Knick greats. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to quite get there and bring him a championship. This is why, as a quick aside to that, I've always said I can't figure out for the life of me why all these great players today who are free agents don't go to New York, because the guy who eventually goes to the Knicks and delivers them a championship.
Woo! You set for life.
Set for life, not only in New York, but you will be an NBA legend. An NBA legend.
Like, come on, man. Like, God. That first man, I might have to fly to New York, but I'm not gonna hold you. I might have to fly to New York. It's about the Big Apple gonna turn upside down. It's gonna be. Yeah, you already see how crazy they got last year when Jalen Brunson
absolutely
made that run. You know what I mean? Like that
no
crowd
doubt
out there, that ain't nothing to play with. So if they win that championship, oh man, it's curtains. It's curtains.
Facts.
Fireworks everywhere for no reason. Police gonna have to. They gonna have to work overtime, baby. Y'all got to work overtime. They turned that thing up.
Sneed, appreciate your comment. I think Patrick Ewing was upper echelon. The problem is, one, like we said, he ran into better guys, right? So he wasn't quite as good as David Robinson because he didn't have that level of athleticism. And obviously we saw that Olajuwon was just, you know how I feel about Dream. So I probably can't even speak objectively about Dream because, I love him so much as a player. So it was incredible. But I think it's maybe a stretch to say he wasn't upper echelon. He just played in the greatest big man era of all time. That's what I think. M Hill, what's good? They need to do a 30 for 30 on the next first Bulls playoff series. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Same way they did it for Bad Boys and all that. I think that would be fantastic because, you know, if you're not old enough to remember, man, that was some serious stuff right there. I definitely think so. Pat took Hakeem 7 games in the finals, took it down to the wire. He absolutely did. But what did Dream finish with? 25, 10, 4 blocks, I think, in game 7. So, you know,
talk to us. What did he average?
Say again.
Chat, you got to talk to us. Now, tell the chat, talk to us. Make them do some work here too. Okay, make the chat work. Okay,
right.
Y'all got your phones. You got your thumbs moving. You know, hey, check us real quick. What did Dream have? I know it was something stupid.
Yeah, no, Dream. I think he averaged like 26 or 27 and 11 in those finals. Pat and the Knicks gave Jordan the biz. They played them tighter than the Jazz and the Sonics. They did. They really did. Yeah. They took them 7 games most of them time. See, that's why
that was literally the finals. After Jordan wiped them out, he was like,
he's like, whoa, right.
All right, here we go.
And don't get me wrong, those teams in the West were still really good teams. But after you coming through the war zone, that was the Eastern Conference back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
that's all you got. Like, hey man, we got through the biggest hurdle that we could face.
That's it.
And let's go win this championship real quick.
That's it. All right, what we're gonna do? Let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to topic number 2, and that's gonna be. This is interesting to me. This is Paul George is now a Philadelphia 76er, and so we talked about. It was last week you were on with me, right, bro? No, 2 weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. So I thought that Klay Thompson would have been a better fit in Philly. And, you know, just because of his shooting and spreading the floor and all that. But Paul George works just as well. So as we know, Paul George is now a Philadelphia 76er. What's his new deal that he got from Philly? He got he got 4 years, $211.5 million.
There you go.
Yeah, so they basically, they maxed him out. Obviously, he couldn't get bird rights. That would have been the Clippers to give that to him. But Philly maxed him out, and I think that's I'm not really sure how to take that. I think it's an interesting fit in terms of what he could do. What's up?
Talk to me.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting fit in terms of what he can do on the floor. Yeah. I don't know if I'm willing to give him that money. He played 74 games last year. I didn't even realize that till I was kind of doing research for this. But you can never count on what somebody does in a contract year. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
People go balls to the wall in contract years.
I call that the Kawhi Leonard effect. If you look at Paul George before he went to the Clippers, man, Paul George was giving you 70 games a year. He was giving you 70 games. When he became a Clipper, Kawhi showed him that, hey, bro, if you don't feel good today, you don't know how to play.
Take it easy, brother.
Just take it easy, brother. Come over here and sit next to your boy. We run that lane. We ain't got to do nothing out here. You know what I mean? So I think now that championship fire is lit, I think he's going to try to push another 70 games, especially with the way the awards things is changing and things like that. You got to play that 65 games. Honestly, that's going to start putting a whole fire under, like Anthony Davis last year played 70-plus games.
That's right.
Players are going to start like, oh, man, they finna start dinking this. They putting it in the contracts now.
Yeah, this is about money now.
Games. Like, okay, now y'all really harping down on us. So I like the move. I called it when I found out that him and the Clippers wasn't going to work. I'm like, the perfect place he can go is Philly.
Okay.
Philly wants anybody. They want Paul George, right?
So from a basketball sense, why do you think Philly's the perfect fit?
Tobias Harris.
He's gone.
He's Tobias Harris turned Super Saiyan. If Tobias Harris learned how to freaking play when it mattered.
Oh, that's good.
Tobias Harris turned Super Saiyan. That's all Embiid needs. Somebody like, hey, when I go sit on the bench, you and Maxey can run the show.
That's right.
Somebody that can run the show, keep us afloat. Let me get a breather real quick. Now let me come back. You know what I mean? So I think that's what they've been missing. Do you know Tobias Harris got a Kirk Cousins-esque agent?
Oh, he's got one of those?
Like, he has a Kirk Cousins-esque agent. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we paying Kirk Cousins $50 million a year for?
Right.
I mean? So at the same time, when we're looking at Tobias Harris and his contract, That man was getting paid what, $30 million a year to do what when the time came? To do what exactly? So I think when you got a guy like Paul George, he can play both sides of the floor, great two-way player. He could put the ball in the basket. Yes, he has his woes and some playoff series, but there's other playoff games where he can give you 30. You know, he can go and give you 30 real quick, give you 25. And I think when you can do that with who I consider the best big man in the league, when healthy, and you got Max coming up, and Maxi's turning into a star in his own right. You know, that's a team that I would like to see go against Boston. That's a team that I would like.
Absolutely. And you know what? I love that you said that when healthy, Embiid is the best big man in the league.
When healthy, big red flag.
Yeah, because he gives the Joker that work. Sneed, when you're ready to call in at the end of this segment, number is 904-219-8264. Numbers at the bottom of the screen scrolling. So just keep an eye on that. But yeah, Paul George, man, I like it because it gives you another slasher. And so people get on Paul George. Obviously, he's had an injury history, but what was it? 2 years ago, Kawhi Leonard, as usual, was injured in the playoffs. And I love the fact that Paul George put the Clippers on his back and took them guys to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in team history. So Paul George can get it done if he's healthy. He can.
He can.
Yeah, nobody's going to sit here and try to tell you he's LeBron or Kobe or Michael Jordan or anything like that. But Paul George is a very, very good player. He can run the point for you if you need him to. He's a point forward type. Obviously, he can still defend at a high level. Paul George, I think he's a really good player. He can stretch the floor. He's able to shoot the rock. So I like it a lot. I love this move. Obviously, as a Celtics fan, I don't love this move, but I love this move for basketball. And, you know, no, I mean, if we're real, right? And I know you're going to love what I'm about to say here. The Celtics every champion gets some breaks on the way to the title. But the Celtics got a lot of breaks on the way to their championship. So I fully imagine that in their efforts to defend said championship this year, they're going to run into a lot of teams that's going to be ready to give them the business. And so that's going to make the Eastern Conference playoffs even better. And we're going to see if they're good enough to do it. And I love the move that they have made. Okay, let's see here. AJ, what's good, man? Appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead. Click that like and that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Terrible fit in Philly, should have been in Miami. Now, let me ask you this, AJ. Are you saying that because you're a Heat fan, or are you saying that because there's a real legitimate reason why you believe that that's a terrible fit? I'd love to hear that.
Answer honestly, AJ, because I know the answer.
He put you on blast.
So I'm gonna let him go ahead and be a man and answer his own question.
Okay. But yeah, I think so. Paul George, if we're gonna take a second to digress here, Paul George in Miami would be an interesting fit because him and Jimmy Butler are kind of the same player. Except he's a better long range shooter than Jimmy Butler. So like, why would you do that? You're duplicating it, and you will very likely end up in the same situation you were when you were in with the Clippers. One or both going to be injured at some point during the season when you need them. Yeah. So I really don't know. Nah, I'm trolling for real. I'm a Heat fan. Okay, AJ, I got you. Appreciate your honesty, brother.
I'm proud of you, AJ. I'm proud of you.
but yeah, I think that would be a difficult fit, but I like it. Kyrie, what's good, my G? How you doing, bro?
What? Kyrie.
Man, listen, Kyrie, man. You know what? When this segment is over, you can call in. Matter of fact, stick around, Kyrie, because if you see on the rundown that last topic, that LeBron and Bronny, we're gonna get into it, and I got some stuff for you. And
come back me up, Kyrie.
You're gonna hear this a lot, Kyrie.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'm big on that one. All right. So, you know, all you got to do is you can correct me if you can come with the receipts. All right. Make sure that when you come proper. So I'm waiting for you on that, Kyrie. But real talk. Thanks for the love, bro. Make sure you go over to the YouTube channel, hit that like and subscribe. Anyway, yeah. So Paul George in Miami, that would be an interesting fit. I don't know that it would be the best fit. I think it's a better fit in Philly. Again, floor spreader. You're playing with Embiid. And then we forgetting Maxey. Maxey is a real problem. What do you average? 30 a game in the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Yeah, and what he
Maxey's a
averaged 27
baller.
a game while Embiid was out. So I love the fact that he stepped up and did his thing. So now you got 3 legitimate scorers on that team. You got
Yes.
guys who can defend. You got guys who can shoot. You got guys who can slash. It's good. It's a good lineup, good
And I
fit.
like how they kept Oubre. They brought
That's
Oubre
right.
back, so you got more length on the defensive end. You got
Very
you know
good.
what I'm saying, more size to battle to go against Boston with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and their length on the basketball court. So, like I said, this year is going to be it's definitely going to be a big test. Like I said, and I said this before, and this is no Boston hate at all. I don't see Boston repeating if they got to go through the juggernaut that they were supposed to go through last year. I don't see it. You know what I mean? Because if Philly's at full power, you got Boston. I mean, Milwaukee at full power. You got the Knicks doing what the Knicks are doing.
Rebuilt specifically for them.
But like, man, you got even Indy and what's his name? I mean, no, Indy. What's his name?
They kept Siakam. They extended Siakam. Obviously, you're gonna have a healthy Halliburton.
There you go. You got Halliburton over there. So you got some formidable opponents.
Yeah, no, the East about to be rough, bro.
Pieces, they tweak it a little bit. It can get a little rough. So
you're right.
I want to see the money grab is Boston, Philly. That's going to be the money grab in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, that's going to be money.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. Honestly, it is going to be very tough sledding for Boston to get through. Obviously, they've got to shoot to try to get that number 1 seed again.
Because
they got to get it. There we go. Man Down Sports was good. My main man Mel was good. Good to see you in here, brother. Yeah, we that last topic is going to be fire, man. Get ready for that. But yeah. So Philly signed the Martin twin from Miami. Okay, there we go.
Oh, Caleb Martin.
Yes.
Did they get Caleb Martin?
This is going to be, man. Boston. They better get ready because when you're the champion, everybody builds a team specifically to beat you. Right.
It's different when you're being the hunted.
That's right. You know. Yeah. So they're everybody in the East is pretty much now loaded for bear to try and take down Boston because they're saying like, hey man, y'all had a nice little run. Y'all got an easy way through. And don't get me wrong. They still were the best team in the league, but
I missed that. That happened today.
I did too. I missed it as well.
That's more heat for Philly.
Yeah.
Jeez, he turned down the Heat $65 million contract before signing with Philly.
So
that's major. Man. That's major. You got him. You got Maxey. You got Paul George. You got Oubre. You got Embiid. Oh my.
So you got defenders and you got scorers. I mean, think about it. Everybody is loading up on two-way wings to try and deal with Boston.
Absolutely.
Two-way players and wings. Yeah. Because of the way Boston has constructed their team. If Embiid can stay healthy, and I'm not saying this just because if you look on this channel, I've made videos about Embiid. Embiid is that dude in the modern NBA. When he's healthy, you can't deal with him. And if he can stay healthy, I think he'd be an absolute problem. You know,
like we say, it's the biggest red flag. It's all predicated off of an if. The man has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, we're talking about a completely different Eastern Conference Finals. A completely different Eastern Conference Finals.
No, I'm with you.
You know, because I mean, last year before he got hurt again, he was gunning for MVP for the second year in a row.
He would have got it. He would have got it. He was dominating.
He was dominating.
He was dominating.
Was getting bodied. Jokic was getting bodied in one-on-one matches.
That's a fact. And so quick side note to that. Absolutely, AJ, you're right. Everyone talks about how Jokic is, hands down the best big in the league. And I give you that other bigs can't do what Jokic can do in terms of what he is asked to do in his offense. And I respect that. But one, you got to play both sides of the ball. And two, he plays in an era with very few legitimate real deal centers. And when he faces the other guy who's arguably at the best at the position, he gets dealt with. So we got to stop all this, just ignoring that because Embiid gets hurt a lot. Because when they play against each other, you see what happens.
Oh, it's night and day. It's night and day. Somebody need to stat me use that because it's night and day. Boston backbone on defense and rebounding. I can do those things better than them. This is a pointless argument. Philly can't do what Boston is doing. Come on. I don't agree. Come on, man. Who in Boston stopping Embiid? Cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough because Boston lacks the size and Snead. Like we were saying, Paul George he's a two-way wing, which is exactly what you need to be able to contend with Boston. And so, don't get me wrong. I think what Snead is referring to, he loves the fact that offensively, you got a lot of guys that have similar. Hang on, Snead. I'm gonna get to you in a minute, man. We have a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys on Boston's roster who are almost interchangeable in the skill set that they have offensively and defensively, and I totally get that, and that makes them very difficult defensively. That makes them very difficult offensively. But Philly has built up a team. They built up a roster, I think, that's specifically designed to beat them. New York Knicks have built a roster specifically designed to beat them. We have yet to see what other moves Milwaukee are going to make in order.
Yeah, they've been very, very quiet this offseason.
Yeah,
very, very quiet.
So we
still got Dame Lillard, Middleton, Giannis. You know, I think they still currently have Brook Lopez, correct?
Yeah.
Or is he a free agent?
I think he can. I saw something today about.
Or is he on an option? Maybe he's on an option. But if they still got him, Bobby Portis, you know, I mean that team is still formidable defensively, size.
But they're old and slow though. That's the problem. They don't, and of course Lillard is always going to be a liability defensively.
Oh, he's not no Drew Holiday.
You just saw the finals. It's fresh. How are we forgetting what Boston is doing? I'm absolutely not forgetting what Boston is doing, Snead. I'm a Celtics fan since I was 8 years old, and I know my buddy here, Bryant Transform, he certainly isn't forgetting what Boston is doing because obviously you can see who he reps for. So I nobody is saying necessarily that these teams are going to beat Boston. We're saying we're watching them building rosters specifically tailored to compete with Boston, as you should do. But
if you think that it's not going to be a competitive series, if Embiid is healthy,
yeah, man,
I'm willing to put some bread on that, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I can start talking because
absolutely. So let's do this, man.
Paul George, Maxey, now Caleb Martin. Oh man, boy, you got some heat.
No doubt. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead, open up these phone lines. The number is 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Let's go ahead, open up these phone lines. Snead, I saw you trying to get in. Give us a shout back. Then you will get hurt. Definitely looking to hear your comments, and anybody listening, if you got commentary on this, I can't wait to hear from you. Let's do it. Snead, what's good, my brother?
Bruce, what up?
Chilling, man. Good to hear
from you.
What's
good, brother? Nice to meet you.
What's happening? I appreciate you guys having me on the platform. Thanks for taking the call.
No doubt. What you got, man?
All right, let's start with Paul George.
Yeah, let's do it.
Best years were in OKC, right?
Yeah,
Physical prime, talent, skills, it all came together there. We're starting to see him fall off a little bit. What I also noticed is his most successful years were when he didn't have excellent talent around him. So, for example, the years in Indiana where they took Miami, I don't know if it was 6 or 7 games, but they took Miami down the line. Okay, that's what I remember. I remember 7 games. He hasn't sniffed that level of winning since then. So he went to OKC with an MVP. He went to the LA Clippers with an NBA Finals champion. How many times did Kawhi win a chip? 3, 4?
No, he's got 2.
He's got 2.
2-time Finals MVP, I believe, too.
Okay, all right. So where he goes with other Hall of Famers and MVPs, he doesn't even sniff the success that he had in Indiana. I'm just saying. There's clearly
did he just make the Western Conference Finals just a year ago?
That doesn't really click when it's him and some other big-time player. So I don't necessarily think this is some slam dunk that's going to work for Philly.
So let me add this, Need. I believe it was 2 years ago. Kawhi, of course, was hurt in the playoffs, and Paul George was the guy, and he took the Clippers to their first and only conference finals appearance in franchise history. So I got to give him some credit for that.
I mean, I thought he played great. That was probably the best he had played as a Clipper. I don't think he ever had a better run, but in that run. And I think Kawhi was out too, wasn't he, for some of those games in that series?
Yeah, no, he missed most of those playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's had moments. I like Paul George. It really hurt me to see what happened to him when he broke his leg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was devastating because I thought he was one of the best young talents in the league because he didn't turn 30 yet. He was still in his 20s when he broke his leg. And for a guy to play both sides of the ball at that level, he is a unique talent.
I agree.
So he's a special player. We're going to look back 20, 30 years from now and tell our kids and our grandkids about Paul George. This guy was really, really good. He had a complete game. We'll be talking about that. But it just doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work and you're going to get to the finals and it's going to be a chip. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Embiid, who I've already called you before on this, Bruce. We talked about Embiid. It just doesn't work with him. He's going to get hurt, and I hate that. I hate to say it, but what proof do we have that he can stay healthy? You give me the season where he didn't have some injury. He didn't have a stomach problem. He didn't have the knee. Like, it's just something about him being 7 feet and like 285 or whatever he is, 300 pounds. He's a big dude. And then he gets a small injury in him, has 10, 20 games, and he's trying to work back into shape and all this. There's too many variables with Embiid.
Yeah.
And it's good for the Sixers to get George because he'll carry the Sixers for the 2 months that Embiid will miss.
Wow.
No doubt he can carry them. But the problem is there's no guarantee. And I'm looking at the construct of Boston. Boston is beating teams with all NBA players, right? Because they themselves have all NBA players and they have all defensive supporting guards. You can't just play these guys in a pick and roll. You got Porzingis blocking shots at the rim into smithereens. You got him hitting threes. You got these guys hitting shots. Some nights you got Drew Holiday giving you 20. Some games you got Derek White getting you 4 threes out of nowhere. Horford's getting you threes sometimes. It's crazy. They get stuff out of these guys, and they are selfless, and they have one mission, and that is to win. And I swear, the 2 guys that they got in Tatum and Brown, you just look at the formula that they have in place. It's too hard to beat that. You have to have guys like that. And I don't think Philadelphia will. I mean, even let's say they were to meet in the Eastern Conference Final. Let's say they met in the semis. Boston's winning that series in 5. And they'll be competitive games. They'll be within 5 points every game. But I expect the Boston Celtics to execute and beat them. Because you think Maxi's going to keep scoring at that clip with Paul George on the roster? You think
he doesn't have to, though.
Continue to average 20. Okay, but I'm just saying, you think guys are going to be happy about seeing their roles diminish a little bit when they haven't won anything? They're going to have to think to themselves, for the betterment of the team, I might have to get a few less touches, a few less shots. Do we have proof that Maxi's cool with that? Or how about Embiid? Do you think Embiid will be cool getting less shots? I mean, half the time I see him hanging out at the
Embiid wanted him there.
Another critique I have about
that's
Embiid.
a big.
He's always hanging out there.
That's a big problem for me. But I will.
He's the best player in the post. Who's going to stop him?
I will say though that I believe he shot less threes this year and spent a little more time on the block. Not as much as he should, but he
and
spent
wasn't
more.
It until he got hurt? Was it not a legendary first 50-some games?
Oh yeah, he was going off. Absolutely,
he was set for one of the best NBA seasons probably of all time. I mean, obviously, Wilt Chamberlain.
Of course.
One of his, right? But I'm just saying, like, he was. But no doubt it's going to
happen. He was averaging
like
36 and 12. He was going nuts.
It was
too many variables, Bruce. I wouldn't count on Philly getting to the Eastern Conference Finals only because there's too many variables.
Well, I hear all of that, and I disagree
I
with most.
I don't want to put the stipulation of predicting the future. I keep saying if healthy.
But
big if.
I think what Snead is saying is that's always the caveat when it comes to Embiid, though.
Yeah.
If I go to work, I might get paid. You know what I'm saying? We could do this all day.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I hear you on that, Snead. I totally get what you're saying, but what we're talking about again is just what it could look like with all these teams basically loading up to take on Boston. And nobody's saying they would beat them. We're saying they would be a seriously competitive matchup if those guys can stay healthy. That's all. And Maxey already got his money, so I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue for him to maybe step back a little bit and get less touches, because it's not like it's going to be affecting his up and coming deal. He got paid. He got his. Yeah.
So you guys give me your prediction. How many games did the Sixers win this year? How far do they go? What's their ceiling?
I think they win between 55, 60 games. Yeah,
55, 60.
Yeah, I'm right there. And I think, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm saying conference finals. They can't keep not getting to the conference finals. Embiid is too good. At some point, the breakthrough has to happen. Now, is he going to win a championship? Not saying that, but at some point, the breakthrough has to happen, and everything is in place. I think conference finals this year. I think it can happen.
I agree.
I respect it. I think you guys are on point with your game totals, and I think their ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got coming out the West?
Oh, that's that's a nightmare. Don't make that face. You know the Lakers,
man. The Lakers. No, I'm messing up.
Okay, so if the Sixers go to the finals, who are they playing in the finals from the West?
Oh, that's tough because, man, and we're going to talk about it next. We see that.
That's a good one. That's a good
yeah, we see that Dallas made a big move. Obviously, I think Denver lost some firepower, so they may not get back. Man, I don't.
They lost KCP.
OKC. The question is, did OKC grow from their experience? Did Minnesota grow from their experience? We don't know.
Yeah.
Is Minnesota still going to make a move?
OKC went and got Hartenstein.
That's a big move there too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hartenstein from New York.
Oh yeah. Saw that move. Yep.
That's major. Now you got some interior defense to go with Chet out there on the block.
Mm-hmm. So do you think Philadelphia got the best player that they could get?
I said before that I thought Klay Thompson would have been the better fit, but now that you say it, because Klay Thompson can't defend like he used to, I think they probably did get the best player that they could have gotten. Yeah,
they got the guy that they've been wanting for the last couple of years.
No. I think they got the best player they could get.
Yeah.
I think he does a lot of things for them.
Yep.
Just got to see how it works with Maxey and Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know what this does to Maxey's game, because Maxey's still a young player.
Mm-hmm.
He's still kind of developing an identity. You do something once or twice, now 3, 4, 5 seasons where you're kind of that guy. He's still kind of developing his identity. And he did it alongside the Embiid. It was just those two kind of like most recently.
Right.
I always thought Tobias Harris was just a bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't do enough,
Yeah.
And
Kirk Cousins.
Well, they were able to unload him, and now we'll see what Philly can do. I think he's good for the East. Obviously, I'm an East Coast guy. That's where I've been for pretty much most of my life. I'm an East Coast guy, so I love to see when the Eastern Conference is doing well, and the West has been a beast for a long time. So it's good to see that we'll have some parity between the conferences. This is going to be good. Again, the caveat is
in the West, right?
Oh man, so now he asked if the East is better than the West now. So obviously the champions are in the East. The Knicks are improved. The Sixers are improved. Milwaukee, sure what they're going to do. Cleveland is still good. Orlando's on the come up. The East is in good shape.
Indiana's still there.
That's right. How did I forget about Indiana? You're right. The East might be better than the West.
Right over them.
I did. You're right. That's my bad. The East might be better than the West.
I love everything. I respect you guys. Everything's been solid, man. Appreciate the show. I'll be calling back soon. I will.
Awesome, Sneed. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your feedback always. All right, that's a good call. Anybody else want to call in and give your thoughts on Paul George? If not, we are going to go ahead and we are going to move along, and we're going to get to Klay Thompson. The Splash Brothers are no more.
The Splash Brothers are no more.
Isn't that something? All right. Let's get to it. Matter of fact, before we do that, I don't think I did this earlier, so let's take a quick breather right here, and y'all know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right. Let's do it, man. So we kind of led into that. The Splash Brothers are no more, and that's crazy, right? I mean, I guess what do they say? All good things must come to an end. I guess they say that. I don't know if I really believe that, but a lot of times we see it. And it's rare that we see a player kind of remain with the team that drafted him through the duration of his career, right? So we see Kobe. Well, I guess he didn't technically get drafted by the Lakers, but y'all get it. Obviously, we saw it a lot more back in the day, right? We saw it a lot more back in the day when players were more, less mobile, but we see it a lot less so now. So yeah, let's get right to it. Klay Thompson, he is no longer a Golden State Warrior, and he has signed with the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, was that $50 million?
50 million?
Yeah, 3 years, 50 mil. Yeah. Average salary of $16,666,667. Which
not a bad contract. That's
not a bad contract at all.
Good contract.
Yeah. So if Dallas can get back what they think they can get back for Klay, that's a bargain basement, because this guy is one of the best shooters of all time. He is a great floor spreader. Obviously he can't defend the way he used to, so he's not the two-way player he was, but he can be a big help for a team that's very Luka-centric and very Kyrie-centric. And as we've seen in certain matchups, obviously Boston, Kyrie can be muffled. I'm not going to say locked up, but he can be muffled. So it's tough. Okay. Sneed says Scottie Pippen to the Blazers, Clyde Drexler to the Rockets. A lot of these guys move eventually. It's just business. No, it absolutely is. I totally get it, and I'm not mad at that. But back in the day, we would see
Patrick Ewing to the
Sonics and then to the Magic.
Yeah,
that wasn't business. I think the Knicks traded him. So if Patrick Ewing had his, did he?
Yeah, Pat requested to go
to Seattle.
Yeah, he requested.
Maybe he requested out, and that's where he ended up.
Yeah, he requested out from the Knicks. Okay. I'm pretty positive he did.
Okay, because I'm like, I would have assumed that if he had his druthers, he would have stayed in New York and finished out his career. Maybe they probably was trying to give him a bad contract. But anyway, so now we see Klay Thompson is he's no longer a member of the Golden State Warriors. He's been there. He won 4 championships, obviously, as the backcourt mate of Steph Curry, one of the greatest backcourts, if not the greatest, at the very least, offensive backcourt of all time. So yeah, let's. Man, it's kind of tough. It's something that we never expected that we would be saying or expected to be seeing. Klay Thompson is what's he got the record? 37 points in a quarter, 11 made threes in a playoff game.
4 dribbles.
Right. Yeah, there you go. 60 points. No, I think it was 11 dribbles total. He scored 60 points. He's got 14 made threes in an NBA game. That's also a record. So yeah, I mean,
Game 6 Klay.
Game 6 Klay. Yeah, he's one of them dudes, man. Obviously he blew out his Achilles, he blew out his knee, and hasn't quite been the same since then. And obviously he only averaged about 18 a game last year, 39% from 3, which is down from his career 41%. I think 42% from the floor. So it wasn't a bad year. Like a lot of guys would kill for that.
A lot, especially shooting 39% from 3.
That's right.
39% from 3 is high. It's still high. And he led the league in free throw percentage.
Yeah, I think he was like 92% from the stripe.
Yeah, 92, not 93. I want to say it was like 93. 92,
yeah, it was pretty,
like 93 or something like that.
Where are we at? had these stats up. Last season he was 92.7% from
yeah.
the free
I knew it was somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's high.
Yeah.
I think that led the league, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that led the league. Yeah.
So AJ says Clay really has to accept that he himself is not the Clay of old. And no doubt, we all get to that point where you got to accept that it's not the same anymore. But, I think when you see a guy who's a Hall of Fame caliber player, he's an elite athlete, it's very hard for a lot of guys to accept that it's over. We saw it, obviously switching gears, different sport. The great Muhammad Ali, the greatest Muhammad Ali, he had to figure that out. What's my man named? Sugar Ray Leonard had to figure it out. Iron Mike Tyson, a lot of dudes, kind of hang around too long and realize that it's not the same. Well, Floyd can kind of get away with saying
no, Roy.
Oh, Roy. Oh, yeah, Roy Jones Jr. When he was at his best, woo, nobody was seeing that dude.
Buckle up.
Facts. But yeah, a lot of times guys got to realize it's not the same anymore. But Clay, I like this fit. Like I said, I would have preferred originally to see him in Philly, but I like this fit because we saw that the way that Dallas plays the game, a lot of high pick and roll action, that kind of thing. If you have the right type of defense, as we saw the Celtics, and of course not every team has that, but if you have the right type of defense, they can really give you problems. And we saw it. So now you get another legitimate floor spreader, a guy who can really shoot the rock. And we know that Luka is going to attract a lot of defensive attention. We know that Kyrie is going to attract a lot of defensive attention. Clay is a dude who can keep him honest. So what are your thoughts on Klay Thompson and his new home, his landing ground in Dallas? And talk about the money portion. We talked about the business. That's what kind of got me. And real quick, if you haven't already and you're here on YouTube, appreciate you checking in. Make sure you're leaving comments. Let us know where you're coming in from. Give us your thoughts. And also make sure you hit that like and that subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead, B.
Yeah. So you want to talk about the contract first? His current contract?
Yeah, you can talk wherever you want to start. You can talk about the business piece. You can talk about the basketball fit. Wherever you want to start. Go ahead. Okay,
let's start here.
Talk to me.
Klay Thompson is not a Golden State Warrior no more, man.
it's hard to grasp, right?
Yeah, it's until we see it, it's not believable. I feel like he's just going to renege out of the deal and be like, you know what? Nah, let me go back. Let's go back to Golden State. It's honestly going to be a game changer because we used to seeing him. Like I said, he was Steph and Klay, that 1-2 punch, the greatest shooting duo we've ever seen. Both of them shooting 40% from three, snipers at any moment of time. Klay has a skill set where he can play till he's about 40. If you can shoot the rock that good as a spot up shooter, don't have to put the ball on the floor and stuff like that, you're gonna have a job in the NBA for years. You're gonna be able to last a long time. That contract for Dallas is wonderful. All right, and I say this because you need Klay Thompson. What I saw from last year in Boston, them boys couldn't hit a three if they saved their life. They couldn't. It was wide open shots. I'm looking at them hitting the side of the rim, rolling in and out. Klay is a knockdown shooter. He's shown it his entire career. 39%. Y'all could have used that against Boston in the finals. So the attention that Luka demands, where he's driving in that kick out, Kyrie on the dribble penetration with the kick out, and you got Klay over there sitting in the corner or sitting at the top of the key. Oh, it's a bucket. It's a bucket. So I think that's gonna be a huge game changer for him. Yes, he's not the guy he was defensively. And he knows that. We know that. We see it. And I think he needs to come to more grips, like what AJ said earlier. But he's light skinned, man. What you expect light skinned people to do, bro? They got a chip on his shoulder, man. You can't tell a light skinned man that
my goodness,
4-time champion. What you mean I'm old? You know, I can still put the ball in the basket. So I think it's a great move for Dallas. I know it was speculation for him coming to the Lakers. I wasn't on that bandwagon. I didn't want us getting like older in a sense to where Klay is just, to me, he's on more of a decline defensively. Yes, he would have been great for LeBron James. Pretty much the exact same player as Luka can.
You don't need Klay. You got Bronny, right?
Oh my God. Here we go, boy. If this wasn't no podcast, I'm cursing you out.
All right. But no, I think the Lakers offered him 4 years, $80 million.
4 years, 80, and then we didn't even have it. We offered them money that we didn't even have. That's how crazy our front office is running business. We offered them money that we didn't even have.
Well, LeBron did say that he was willing to take that pay cut if he could have gotten there. I don't know if that would have happened or not, because LeBron, out of his own mouth said he's never again playing for less than the max. So I don't know if that would have happened.
Again, money we didn't have. So right now we play with money that we didn't have, man. We're gonna talk about Bronny later, Sneak. Calm it down. Hold the horses. All right, that game today wasn't good. Let the man let him get his feet wet a little bit. He's going to the G League, like I told y'all. I told you he was going to the G League.
We're gonna talk about that.
I definitely did, but we're gonna talk about that later. But no, man, this move for Dallas is a great move. I think so. Because what's that kid name that just left? Tim Hardaway Jr.
Okay, yeah, I think he went to Detroit.
He couldn't do anything. I mean,
he had the one game where he hit the 5 threes.
But last year, Tim Hardaway Jr. The 2 years ago versus this one, that was literally night and day.
Yeah,
that was literally night and day. And I think if you could put Clay in that spot to where he was getting them same looks as Tim was getting, Clay is putting that ball in the basket. That's
knocking him down.
He's a sharpshooter.
Yeah. And again, I think the beautiful thing about Clay in this situation, I probably said it before, but it changes the defensive philosophy going against Dallas. And I think the other thing that I will add is that Clay coming over there, he can bring some of the offensive concepts that Steve Kerr was running.
Absolutely.
And because we know Jason Kidd's a very smart mind, but the big if is if they can get Luka to buy into a little less ball dominance and more ball and body movement, to be able to do that. What up, Kai? Dallas wants Clay to do what he couldn't even do for the Warriors in a contract year. No. See, Kai, I disagree with you here. Let's
not base Clay's career on the very last game. We all saw it. It was horrible. But Clay, 39% from 3. Come on now.
That's what I'm saying. I think if Dallas can get Clay to even do what he did last year in said contract year, they're going to be very happy with that, because his ability to affect the way that defenses plan and the way that defenses defend you, that is huge. Even if he's not hitting at the same clip that we once saw him hit, you have to be honest when you're dealing with Clay when he's out there and say, he's not seeing Clay. We ain't going, can't do that.
Oh, please. He'll be back to averaging 20 in no time if you let him do that.
That's right. He'll burn you.
Like we said, Clay doesn't have to have the ball. That's the beauty of putting Clay in that situation. Luka's ball dominant. Kyrie's ball dominant. But one thing they love to do, they love to kick. They love that driving kick. And Clay is the perfect piece to be right there in the pocket. Like, I'm waiting on y'all to let this, pass that ball to me. So I think it's perfect for him. It's perfect. What Golden State had going on, it was a lot. It was a mess. It was a huge mess. Everything was built around Steph, and Dre had his incident off and on the court. So Clay was just unhappy with what a lot of things were going on. I think this change of scenery, him putting himself back into that championship caliber team. They were just in the finals. He has a lot of input on that. Like, hey guys, I've been here 5 times. I've won it 4. I know what I'm doing. No, 6 times. He's been there 6 times. He's been there 6 times.
6 times won 4, yeah.
6 times won 4.
He knows what it takes. Yeah.
I know what it takes at this level. This is how we can do it. So I think him and Jason Kidd, with that knowledge on the sideline, that plug and play, you can instantly plug Clay into that offense, and it can be perfect because he doesn't have the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it's perfect.
I think that key there is they've got to get Luka to be able to buy into being less ball dominant, give more effort on defense, and really buy into the ball and body movement. I think that's going to be key. We've seen him move. You can definitely argue that 0 for 10 was him being mentally checked out from the Warriors. I didn't think about that. That might be a fair point. Yeah,
it could be because they knew it was over. Clay knew it was over. I mean, if you look at the shots that he was shooting, you're like, that's typical. Clay knocks those down, but his body language, it was just like, walking up the court, like, this is it, and the writing's on the wall. And I think that, like I said, that whole when he should have got, because he felt he should have got paid 2 years ago. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
When they won that championship, he was like, "Where's my?"
And contract? They paid Draymond first. I think they paid Draymond first.
Paid Dre.
So he's like, "Yo, wait a minute, what?
Where's my bread?" You know what I mean? So I think it was still that spite, like, I know y'all trying to move on. Y'all want to put me on a trade block, or y'all
After
don't
everything I've done here.
So at that point, the end of the year, last game, he's like, man, whatever. You know, Clay is one of them light skins who don't care when stuff don't go his way. He's one of them light skins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you see my man Kyle right here says, give me Luke Kennard cheaper and younger. And to that, I gotta say, bro, you're on drugs. You're on
Luke Kennard?
Yeah, like that's not going. Nah, that's not going.
The one that played for the Clippers?
Yeah, that's not going to make it. Yeah, no.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and say it on that one. Power of who? Power of an aura?
Power of a horror, yeah. My gut tells me Clay will be open quite often, but will miss open shots he gets to take because he will be charged with hitting important shots when he touched the rock.
That's what he does.
No, I'm thinking he's saying hitting important shots when he doesn't touch the rock for most of the game. That's what I'm thinking that commentary might be. Okay. So that's why I was saying, like, it's important that you get Luka to buy into moving the basketball more, and you get Jason Kidd to implement more of what. And again, Jason Kidd, smart basketball mind. You get him to implement some more, not all of it. Obviously, you can't totally mimic it, but implement some more of what was going on in Golden State offensively. Because if you can mix that stuff, yeah, that's what we thought you said, Dominique. When you can mix that stuff, now you get a better, more fluid offense, and it's not just either, it's not just high pick and roll waiting for the kick from Luka or Kyrie to make something happen with his magic. So I get that, but it's some adjustments are going to have to be made, and hopefully those adjustments can be made. So we will see.
I think Kidd is going to do it. I think Kidd's a champion. Kid's a champion.
That's true.
He's led the team. Led Dallas to that championship. He knows what to implement. And like I said, with Clay coming there, Clay's been there 6 times.
Yeah,
1-4. You know what I mean? So it's a different feel to when you got championship caliber guys. Kyrie has been there, so he was trying to instill that. But once he got clamped up, it was just like, okay, what you want me to do? Kids, Tim ain't knocking down shots. We're going to this corner. They ain't knocking down shots. What you want us to do? So I think when you add Clay in there, I think we're going to see more of that Dallas 2011 Dallas style of offense where Jason Terry was sitting in that corner on that block knocking down threes. Like, we're going to start seeing some old plays come out of Jason Kidd's book.
So Dominique has a great point here. Luka wouldn't change his game when he has all the ingredients to win a title and all the help he needs. And so that's where we keep getting back to. I agree with you, Bryant Transform, that Jason Kidd, he knows what it's about and he can make adjustments, but we know this league is a stars league. And if Luka's not willing to make the adjustments, what are you going to do? You can't make him do it. He's been playing this way his whole life, right? Or at least his whole time in the NBA. You can't make him change it. So we're going to see if he's willing to make that adjustment in himself. He's got to look himself in the mirror and say, damn, I got to change what I'm doing because we're not going to win this way.
I mean, but we say that like
Luka. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Luka's 25.
He's 25, but what's he been in the league 6 years now? And he's played this way the whole time.
Yeah,
and you don't
I think you have more, like, as you get older, like same thing with Kyrie. Kyrie was one way. I want to be the man. I want to go somewhere and be the man. But it took him to kind of mature a little bit to be like, okay, maybe I do need to change something.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So I'm not going to put it past Luka that, okay, there's going to be some games where it's like, okay, I'm going to play the Luka way. And kids will be like, okay, now let's try this way.
Right.
Let's see what happens with that team. So I believe Luka can put some of that aside.
We'll see. So Dominique, Jason Kidd was begging him to play defense. We saw how that went. What I will say is, at least one of those games, that was the game they won, right? The blowout game in game 4. Luka decided he was going to strap up. So we know that he's capable. Obviously, he's never going to be, Meta Sanford Artest? Is it Ron Artest, Meta World Peace? Meta Sanford Artest. But the point is, we know he's never going to be that. But clearly, if he wants to, he can, and he makes some effort, he can defend at a decent level. Nobody's saying he's going to be the glove or he's going to be Scottie Pippen. We know that. But if he wants to, he can defend at a decent level. And maybe if people get on him enough, and like we heard all through the finals and pretty much through the playoff run, maybe he will hear it and maybe he will make the proper adjustments. So who knows? what we got. As long as Luka plays, as long as Luka plays point guard, that's an indication he hasn't changed. He is not a point guard. Well, touche.
Point forward.
Touche. I'm not gonna argue that. He's been privileged since he's a kid.
Nobody's a point guard.
Slovenia or wherever he's from. Yeah, I think he's from Slovenia. The Mavericks allow him to show up to the NBA with a dad bod. Yeah, that dad bod thing would not have worked in Miami. Pat Riley would have been like, "Oh hell nah."
Ooh, no. Pat has a foot.
Doesn't get in shape.
I'm pretty sure he got a size 15,
22 or 24. It's a great point. He is only playing point guard for the assist stats and triple doubles. Yeah, man. I heard you talking about that, Mel, with the how so many people are enamored by the triple double, and it is crazy. You know what? I never even thought about it this way. You can't play a position that you can't defend, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's about right. All the best players. Yeah, that's fair. I never thought about it that way. That's a great point.
What's the point?
That you can't play a position that you can't defend. So he's saying Luka is running point, but he can't defend any of these point guards you got to match up with. You always got to do some cross matchup to try and protect Luka because he can't defend those guys. Won't, whichever. But
that's big body Doncic, man. He ain't guarding no point guard.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Come on, man. I thought Luka was 6'8", about
6'7", 6'8", yeah.
220, 230.
Yeah,
that man ain't guarding no point guard.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
No, he's not. No.
All right. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. That number is going to be 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. It's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Love to hear the thoughts that you guys have on Luka Doncic. And well, this was a Klay Thompson topic, but it quickly morphed into Luka Doncic. So anything you got on the Mavs, let's hear your thoughts. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
he rarely does dunk.
Yeah, I think if he got in better shape, he could be dangerous. I definitely agree with that.
230. That's 6'7", 230. I knew I was about right.
Oh my gosh. There you go. 230. Wow. He has to average 70 in order for them to win a title.
They got to play defense too.
Crazy. Yeah, they do.
Got to play defense. Somebody got to play defense. You can't have him and Kyrie, and neither one of y'all can guard nobody. Like, come on, man. Somebody got to guard.
Good, Steve.
Bruce, what do you think? The possibility that things could get a little bit chippy in Dallas if they lose some games midseason. Klay isn't hitting shots. Hasn't really helped the defense. You know, so basically what I'm saying is if, let's say the first 10, 20, 30, 40 games, they're like 7th or 8th in the West, you know, and things don't look good and Klay's not making an impact. I mean, what, do you think that this team could potentially self-implode? I mean, what's the expectations for Klay? I mean, I think that's a lot. I think the vibe is that he's going to come in and knock down, 5, 6, 7 threes a game. I think that's a lot to expect. I don't think that's a fair expectation.
I think that obviously he's expected to bring some shooting. I don't think anyone's expecting that he is going to be the Klay Thompson of the Splash Brothers for a myriad of reasons. But I do think that if it starts going bad soon, because we already see that Luka is a whiner and a complainer, so we may hear some stuff getting reported out of Dallas that he's not happy and he's whining and complaining about what's going on there. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that if things start going bad, you start hearing the rumblings coming out of there, and then it's going to be whose fault is it? Who are they going to blame it on? Because I'm pretty sure the Dallas as an organization is not going to want to blame it on Luka, so they're going to have to find something. And to your point, the easiest would be, well, we went to the finals last year, we brought in this guy, and all of a sudden things went bad, which I think would kind of be ridiculous based on what Klay has done. You're bringing in a 4-time champ. Go ahead.
If they try to blame this on Klay, then that's a whole other story.
Well, he's got to be playing pretty badly for that to happen, right?
Yeah, and I don't think he will, because like I said, Klay doesn't have the ball, right? His specialization, his entire career, we're not talking about in the last 3 seasons, last 4 seasons, or a chunk of time. He has always been a catch and shooter. It's his only job. And if you're averaging 5, 6, 3 attempts a game, and you're giving me 2 to 3 of those on an average, that's good. That's all I can ask. Out of $17 million contract, that's good. That's good money. That's good money. You brought him there for shoot. You didn't bring him there to be the elite defender that he was, because he's not. He's about to be 34 in February. That's not going to happen. All right. So if you blame the defense on the 34-year-old when you got the 25-year-old out here letting blow-bys happen, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. All right. You can't sit there and blame that on Clay. All right. But if Clay comes in for $17.5 million a year, and he's giving you 38, 39, 40% from three, and he's knocking down three threes a game. What more do you want from him? You know what I mean? Yeah. So the contract makes sense. The numbers will make sense. The gameplay makes sense. Now that's on your superstar. Okay, superstar. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? We put the shooter last year in the finals. We missed the shooter. We got you a shooter. All right. You got to eventually start playing defense. So I think you can't. Luka's in no point or shape the way he can blame deflect out on Clay.
Yeah, but remember, this is the modern NBA. Go ahead, Snead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, I think some of this is gonna rest at Jason Kidd's hands. Like, he's gonna have to put together, a system. Well, I don't even know if I want to call it a system. I don't think Clay's gonna be part of a system. I think he's gonna be a wrinkle. I think he's gonna be an element of the offense momentarily, for moments within certain types of lineups and things of that nature. He's not going to be a key cog in their offense. Everything is going to be secondary outside of Kyrie and Luka. But I think what they can do is they can make teams play a little bit more team defense.
Yeah.
If they involve Clay more, because right now you're putting your best perimeter defender probably on Kyrie, right, or your second best perimeter defender, depending on your team dynamic. And you're saying, make these other guys beat us, right? We'll get people in the paint. We'll put bodies around. We'll rough up Luka. He doesn't like that, all these things. But if they can create wrinkles and some off-ball opportunities, you'll make the other team have to play team defense, and not just play box and one on Luka or whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that's been.
Look at the finals last year
and what he does. Go ahead.
If you look at the finals last year, it would have worked if they would have knocked down shots. Like if you look at it, there was a lot of open shots that the Mavericks were just clanking. They were legit just clanking. I think on some of those runs, and I'm Luke, and I just gave you the last 6. Kyrie coming in and gives you 4, and we kick it out to the corner 3 times in a row. PJ Washington, Tim Hardaway Jr., everybody's just straight clanking. That's when you implement Clay. If Clay's right there, that's a different ball game. That's a different ball game. I guarantee it. Because now you have a certified knockdown shooter. That's his job, to knock down those shots. And
so here's why I think you're right. Here's why I think you're right. I'm gonna agree with you on this. I was on a podcast discussing the same thing last year when the Boston Celtics moved on from Marcus Smart and brought in Kristaps Porzingis. And I remember having this conversation with this other host, and I said, "Look, bro, I just saw Marcus Smart take a bunch of threes at the end of games, potentially game winners, and he missed all of them. Now you're going to have Kristaps Porzingis coming in, being the third guy, and he will make those shots. He won't miss those shots. You know what I'm saying? So you might be onto something, right? You replace, in a way, those guys that couldn't hit threes. You named Tim Hardaway, PJ Washington, I think you named. Guys, maybe the moment was too big for them. Maybe they're not the prolific shooters, and they don't have the experience and those types of factors, but maybe Clay does, and I'm not saying he's going to be Kristaps Porzingis, but I'm saying similar to how the Celtics upgraded from Marcus Smart being wide open for threes at the end of games and missing versus Kristaps Porzingis being the guy, the third guy to be open and take those threes. Yeah,
because, that's what Kristaps' specialty is. He's a 7'3" guy who can knock down threes. Marcus Smart has never been a shooter. Never been a shooter.
He was wide open for those shots and missed all of them.
Yeah,
so I replaced him with Kristaps Porzingis. So now I think that's what it is.
Right? Let me push back. Let me push back on that a little bit, Snead. I don't think that was the replacement. I think Drew Holiday was the replacement.
Drew was that guy,
and that clearly worked out very well for them. But
Wait. Why? Hold on. Why? Drew Holiday. Well, Marcus Smart was Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, but I believe Drew Holiday's been Defensive Player of the Year as well, correct?
Well, I don't know if he has, but
I know he's been all-team defense, first team.
Yeah, he's first team. I don't think
Drew Holiday to take last-minute shots.
No, but
in the event Drew Holiday to take threes.
No, I get that, but in the event that he needs to, we know he's better at it offensively. His offensive toolkit we know was superior to Marcus Smart. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't Marcus Smart the guy taking all those shots at the end of games?
Well, listen, he took bad shots.
Ill-advised.
It is what it is. I don't think they were drawing. I don't think they were.
He was open. He was wide open, missing those shots at the end of games. What I'm saying is, if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum couldn't get their looks, and it had to be someone else to shoot it, better to be Kristaps Porzingis than Marcus Smart.
No, I get that. I was just pushing back on the replacement piece. I get it. Dominique says, I've never seen someone become a better defender. That part of your game only declines from what we've seen historically. Generally, that's true. The only thing I'll say is Luka's only 25. And so if he gets in better shape, that means he's got more energy, theoretically. That means he's going to be able to move better, and he can give more effort on that end without losing as much of his offense. And again, nobody's saying that he's ever going to be Scottie Pippen the glove or Meta Sanford or Artest, but
nowhere near it.
We all know that a big part of defense is effort. So if you give effort, you can become a better defender. You're not locking people up, but or the claw. Nobody's saying he's going to be that, but if he gives effort, he will be a better defender than he is. I fully.
You know what he needs, Bruce? You know what he needs? He needs emotional control. He needs emotional intelligence. We saw some of those games in the finals against the Celtics where he was like, the refs were swallowing their whistles, trying not to foul him out, and he just had to get fouled out.
Right.
It was crazy. He probably committed 9 fouls. You know what I'm saying? And they only called him for 6.
Right.
And because they don't want those guys getting kicked out of the game.
No, that's correct.
They want him in the game. It's the NBA Finals. You're going to lose Luka. He's the best player on the team. But his emotional intelligence, his emotional control was absent in the finals. In fact, the one game where he had those things, they won in a blowout, to show you how important those things are. Those games have a lot of energy in them. Those games have a lot of nuance. They have a lot of these moments that are heavy. There's gravity. He wasn't really good with those moments.
Right.
Hell, he was missing free throws. You know, those are important moments. So I hope he goes back and he watches the tape and he sits down with Jason Kidd and he watches those moments again and he sees what he could do better, because he can be back in the finals. Luka is an immense talent. He can be back, and that team can be back now with Clay. You know, it does add a new dynamic. They can be back, but they're going to have to be better in those. Well, he's going to have to be better if the Mavericks are going to win the finals.
And I think that's where another point of value for Clay. Clay is a veteran. Clay was one of the best two-way players in the NBA. You know what I mean? So having that veteran leadership to come on a team and now implement that, and like another voice to talk to Luka, like, hey, look, we got to keep something in check. Now, Draymond Green is a different story. They came up together, so they're more like brother. That's a little different. It's like me telling my same age brother, man, bro, you got to chill out, bro. We the same age, man. Stop talking to me like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Luka being 25, Clay going on 34, so he has that bigger brother mentality. Like, hey, look, we got to keep that in check. All right.
Yeah, but
mentality, this is the tone that we got to kind of set. So I think you can still.
But is Luka gonna want to hear that? Luka's gonna say, "Yo, you coming to my team." Is Luka gonna want to hear that?
That's a good point, Bruce. That's a good point. I don't know how we receive that. A guy just coming in, you don't know.
Yeah.
Not everyone's gonna receive the fact that, hey, this is a 4-time champ coming in trying to help us.
Good, Bruce. Remember when Jason Kidd made that timeout call and Luka didn't like it? He didn't receive that well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's his coach.
It is. Wow, Luka's a new Charles. Let me throw this up there. Luka's a new Charles Barkley. That one final appearance he'll get. He won't be in better shape or play as well as he did last season. Fat boys don't keep. Damn. I guess we'll find out.
A lot of people are down on Luka there, Bruce.
Yeah, I see it. Dominique is frying him up.
I get it. I get the point. The comparison is very good. That comparison is very good. Hey.
I personally believe he's got a couple more trips to the finals left in him. He's too young. He's too talented. His upside it's immense. You know, when I watched him play in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I had this conversation with you before, Bruce, but he, like I'm watching him in person. I've never seen someone score so easily. The points come so easy. He gets to whatever spot he wants.
That is interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pump fake. It's a pivot. It's a layup. It's a fadeaway. It's a teardrop. It's all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And just wherever and whenever he wants. And I noticed, and I think you alluded to this earlier, you said getting his teammates involved.
Yeah.
That's when the team started to win. Because when I watched him play was against the Cavs in Cleveland, they lost on the 65-foot buzzer beater from Max Strus. The Mavericks shouldn't have lost that game. But at the time, I don't think they were playing as a team like they were those last 30 games.
Right.
And then they made a playoff run. I think that's where Luka was really playing really smart ball. He was become a very good facilitator, not just getting assists, but actually making the right plays to the right guys, helping them get easy looks. So the points come easy and he doesn't have to get tired. You know, his usage is very high.
Yeah, it is.
You know, if you can decrease the usage, you can get more out of him at those key moments. He can't be tired at the end of the games. There's no lift on the shot.
Well,
and he already doesn't have a lot of lift.
Well,
you know what I mean?
No, he definitely doesn't, as Dominique mentioned earlier. But you also need to put down the Bears, and you know he need to do better. He's still only 25. Like it's not like he's old. He's still only 25. But Nick Wonderworker. That's a hell of a comment.
A lot of people question his commitment to the game, his love for the game. And
they
don't believe that he's willing to sacrifice for that longevity. So I was having the conversation with on another podcast. Somebody was saying who could possibly pass LeBron in points. And I said, well, Luka's averaging 35 a game, but we don't know how many seasons he's going to play.
There's no way he can play long enough. Yeah.
But that's the question. It's not because he can't.
Dominique got to chill.
35 a game.
Yeah, she has no chill going hard, right?
When did LeBron ever average 35 a game? It wasn't that. It was just he was averaging 28, 30 a game for 20 years.
Right.
Is Dominique still cooking?
Dominique is cooking the
man, she like Chef Bobby Flay out here. She's going in. All right, Sneed, you got anything else for me, brother?
No, that's it. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you, man.
Hey, Dominique took it to a whole nother level, man.
Yes. Hey, oh my goodness.
Hey, commenter of the day, man. That man is good.
Facts. Facts. All right, we'll take anybody else wants to call in on this topic before we move on and get to the main event of the night. Going once.
Dominique, you're disqualified. You can't call this. Dominique disqualified. We're not accepting that phone call.
Okay. All right, man. Okay, this has been great so far. But now as we said, we're gonna get to the main event. So let's do it.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure being on the podcast tonight. Let this roll on your own.
So this I put LeBron and Bronny here, right? On the thumb and on the rundown. But I think, oh man, there's so much to this, man. It's like one of the first things is, man, what the hell are the Lakers doing? Like, in all seriousness, what are they doing?
Pissing me off. You want an honest answer?
Yeah,
pissing me off. Okay?
I love it. Let's go.
They're pissing me off. I'm upset. I'm flabbergasted. I'm led astray. I'm bamboozled. I'm ran over.
Run amok.
I'm tired. My thread on my ties is running thin.
All right.
I need to change.
So tell us why. Tell them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad.
Man, front office can't get it together. We're giving 40-year-olds $50 million a year. But what's really going on, man? What are we doing? Like,
I can answer that for you in all seriousness. I can answer that for you very succinctly. And this is all honesty. This is so. Wait, before I even get to that, right? A couple of things I want to say to make sure that I'm clear. So first, obviously, you're a Laker guy. Respect due. I am a Celtics guy. We have hatred for each other as intense basketball rivals, no question.
Oh,
That
from the
said,
heart. I mean that from the heart.
facts. That said, both organizations, I truly believe, respect one another
Mm-hmm.
for their greatness as the two greatest organizations in the NBA. I really believe that. And as much as, you know, Larry and Magic hated each other on the floor, we know they respect each other, right?
Absolutely. Best
right.
buds on the off the court.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So these guys, they know it, but now they'll cut each other's throat to try and win, as it should be, right? Because that's what the great ones do. Now so let me get that out of the way. Enough respect due to the Lakers. I never want to see them win, but I respect them as an organization.
Likewise.
Facts. All right, next up. I believe that's me. Get on the mic for the symphony. All right. But I want to also make it clear. I'm sure that some people are going to say that I'm hating on Bronny James when we have this discussion. So I want to make it clear. It's first of all, it's sad that first with LeBron, now with Bronny, we always have to do this qualifier before we talk about these guys and give any criticism. That's disturbing, but it is what it is. So let me be clear that I have no issue with Bronny James whatsoever. I do think that he's a hardworking kid. I think that it was his dream to go to the NBA. How he got there, I don't like it, and we'll get to that, of course. But at the end of the day, I don't think all of what's going to befall him is his fault. And I've said this from jump that this is about LeBron, not about Bronny. And we'll get more into that. But everything, again, we know that LeBron is very good in terms of playing the long game. And when he put it out into the ether or out into the whatever a few years ago that he wants to play with his sons, he knew where that would lead. He knew where that would lead. This guy doesn't say things happenstance. He doesn't do things randomly. That's not him. He's very good. Him and his team are outstanding when it comes to playing the long game. So I get that, right? Let's see. You know what, Sneed? I feel you because you're a rational person. It isn't hating on Bronny to evaluate his game and see glaring weaknesses undeserving of a roster spot on an NBA team. I feel you. You're a rational person, but we know that there are many people who are going to go into attack mode in the comments, whether I don't know about now, but you know, when this show posts and they watch it back and they, you know, some of y'all who rock with me outside of this show have seen some of these crazy comments that I get from the LeBron fans.
Hey, I'll be defending LeBron, but some of the boys, I'll be like, whoa, all right, I'm about to use it.
Right. So again, let me just make sure that I'm very clear about this. I have no issue with Bronny. I wish the young man all the success that he can have, and I hope things work out for him. Again, I will also be clear. I don't like the way that it started off. Now, again, you're my guest, B, my co-host. So I'm gonna let you talk first about your thoughts on what's going on, whether it's JJ Redick and his nonsense and him lying to us and playing us all like we're stupid, or whether it's how Bronny got into the league, or whether it's your thoughts on LeBron and what he is doing to your beloved franchise. Talk to me, man.
Top to bottom. We don't know what we're doing.
Look at that comment.
Only way niggas are going to stop playing.
Oh, Nick, that's classic.
You about to be in timeout too. You and Dominique, boy, y'all about to be in timeout. Y'all need to be putting timeout, man.
Oh
y'all
my gosh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead, B. My bad. I'm sorry.
Top to bottom. We don't know what we're doing right now. And I saw the writing on the wall 2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. And I didn't want to come to grips with it because I knew that we still had a shot. You still got two of the best 15 or top 20 players in the NBA.
True. Put
the pieces around them. Let's make a run. We did that when we ran up against Denver the first time. Ran up against Denver in the Western Conference Finals. I'm like, okay, right. Cool. The very next step was for us to get a big or just ticker the roster just a little bit.
So you could win the in-season tournament?
Negative. To be formidable for Denver, right? We did none of that last year.
Okay.
there was a glaring weakness for us to like. Our whole goal was to beat Denver. We wasn't worried about nobody but Denver. As far as a best of 7, we could have beat Minnesota, we could have beat Dallas, we could have beat all those guys, because when it comes to 7 games, you wasn't outmatching the talent of LeBron and Anthony Davis. You just wasn't. They know how to put it together. But Luka has our number. That man has our number. Not Luka, Joker. Joker. My bad. Jokic. My bad. I said the wrong name. Jokic has our number. Michael Porter Jr. can shoot out of this world for some odd reason when he's playing the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like everything seems to be clicking. Jamal Murray turns into a freaking hot shot. So at that moment, we had one job: get the big enough to move AD to the 4 and just body and just bother Jokic. Rondo saw your point guard from the Boston Celtics, also a Laker champion, by the way. He won this one. Thank you, Rondo.
I really don't like that, man. I gotta tell you,
Rondo.
I don't like that at all.
But Rondo, like immediately after I said this, I saw a podcast with Rondo on it, and he said literally the exact same thing. What they did against Luka, I mean, I keep saying Luka, the name just rolling off the tongue so easy. We just bashed him for like 20 minutes. Jokic doesn't like to be bothered. When you can bother him and you can just tussle with him the same way Embiid and them boys do, he backs out. He's like, okay, look, I'm not going to sit here and battle in the paint. I don't like that. And I think that's the move that we should have made. Yet we just went in a direction to where it's like, what are we doing? We went to go grab Westbrook, and now we're getting D'Lo. We're trying that experiment. Like, what are we doing? Like, what is our identity? Let's find it. And
you don't have an identity. You sold your soul to LeBron. Real talk. And I know, you're a LeBron hater, but the fact is, we know that Jeannie Buss said she's on wax saying that her whole goal is to make LeBron happy, right? They want to keep LeBron happy. They sold their soul. Every move they're making is about LeBron and what he wants, and you can see it. What we got? This is why Magic quit. They gave him a job he couldn't do with the approval of 5 different people. LeBron. Wow. Yeah, that's a fact.
I think we touched on that last time.
Yeah, we did. We did.
We touched on
absolutely.
That. Yeah.
Jokic is the guy can't run, jump, or dunk the ball. Literally gets out of breath at half court. But Lakers can beat Minnesota, who basically swept Denver. Yeah, it's weird, man. Matchups and matchups.
Yeah, it's the matchup, brother. It's the matchup. Completely the matchup. AD kills Cat every time. Every time. Nobody on that Minnesota lineup was guarding LeBron. Nobody on that Minnesota lineup. It was just gonna be a wash. Like we do it every year. Like Minnesota was not a threat to us. Denver was, because Denver had the shooting, they had the center, Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. was just airing the thing out. I'm just like, yo, what?
Yeah.
And the next series, he had like he couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. I'm like, he shot all of his he shot the air out, against the Lakers, man. So like I said, that was the matchup where I was just like, hey, if we don't meet them in the first round, then ain't no point. I wanted to get it out the way instead of us going to Minnesota, building this hype up. We building this hype up just to go in the Western Conference Finals,
right,
and get smacked by Jokic again and them boys, because they had our number, man.
Right. So Colonel, hail to the most powerful black basketball player ever. I don't really like that, bro, because I'm wondering,
powerful black basketball player ever?
Like, okay, cool, great, powerful black basketball player. What is that getting his organization? He's destroying them from the inside. Why would we hail that? Secondly, here's my other thing. Yo, what up, Brandon? Good to see you, bro. What up, JB? Good to see you. Yeah, so why are we hailing that? Because I guarantee you, I don't have to know you to know that if it was a white basketball player doing that, you'd be up in arms about it. I don't like the hypocrisy that I'm seeing going on with a lot of my people in terms of, lauding LeBron for pulling all these strings like Geppetto, but really all he's doing is hurting his organization. And when other people of other demographics pull said strings, you got a problem with it. I can't feel that at all. I do not respect that. Okay. Man Down says if LeBron had real power, he wouldn't have condemned Kyrie when he was being harassed by the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA media. Wow. Yeah, no, that's a great point. He would have stood up for him on that. But See, we talk about all this power that LeBron has, and yes, he is powerful in terms of the NBA, but it's interesting he's powerful for himself because to that other point, when Daryl Morey made his comments about China, LeBron was real quick to jump up and defend that. I thought that was interesting as well. So we
LeBron is very strategic. All right, him and his camp, they're very strategic on when they're using their power. And when to be like, you know what, this isn't the limelight we want to be in.
Right.
Digress. You know what I mean? That's just the team of LeBron. I mean, the team of James right there. Yeah. He doesn't put himself in situations to where he's like, okay, how can I come out on top? How can I win this? I'm not gonna put myself in it. That whole Kyrie situation, that was just so much that it was just like when it came to like it was offending the Jewish community. That's one community you just don't talk about. And that's what LeBron was just like, no. I'm not touching that. Like, I'm not touching that. It's more than LeBron that's pulling those strings. It's that boy has a whole team around him.
So absolutely. So Dominique, this is a great comment. And actually, I'm glad you're here because when I listened to Man Down Sports from last night, I heard you make that call. I don't know if it was last night or earlier in the week, I think. I heard you make that call, and I hope you don't mind. I clipped it to use it because this is something that I had never looked at from the perspective under which you presented it, and I thought that it was an awesome statement. So I'm going to go ahead and play that now. So this is more towards LeBron using his quote-unquote power for evil in terms of getting his son drafted when his son didn't deserve it. Check this out. This is a clip from Man Down Sports and Dominique making a call in, and she's one of the more astute callers on that show. So, yeah, check it out.
What's going on, Dominique? What's your thoughts?
Oh man, this topic is crazy now. Honestly, I feel like we probably think a lot of the same thing on this, but I just think that the shenanigans by these privileged athletes, it's going to have a chilling impact on the rest of Black America. Because it becomes a part of like a stereotype that Black people can't succeed in the meritocracy, that we need help to succeed. Like Bronny got help, and DEI then becomes a bad name due to placing, LeBron James in a position to do this much damage from a family of 4 adults that have less than 12 months of a college education between all of them, and they're billionaires. So it's like, congratulations, LeBron. You just fed the stereotypes and the myths that form social barriers for the rest of us.
So that was a great call, Dominique. And let me be clear as we put up there. Dominique is absolutely a panel member on Man Down Sports. You can catch her and the rest of the team on Man Down Sports Full Panel Fridays. And I just referred to her as a caller because I think that was one of his episodes where he didn't have the full panel, and she called in with those thoughts. And I thought that was just an outstanding perspective. And I had never even looked at it that way because I'm one of those people that generally I try to look at things in terms of the basketball context. Sometimes I'll look a little bit outside of that, but I never even had thought about that. And that was really good. Let's see. Salute to the king. Are you on the payroll? Are you working for Clutch, Colonel? Because
who said that?
Colonel, none of these decisions affect the bottom line, so I have no reason to get up in arms about anything. Salute to the king. I don't know. People who talk that way, I always kind of picture them standing by the mailbox waiting for that check.
Like hell, Hitler.
No, real talk. No. We don't do that here. Nah, we don't do that. But no. In all seriousness, it's frustrating to me on a number of fronts, right? And again, I made it clear from the beginning of this segment that I have zero issue with Bronny, and I wish the young man a great deal of success. So I want to reiterate that. And I'm not being facetious when I say it. It's really true. I do want the guy to have success. But Sneed, there you go. You said it very simply. This is about a player meddling with roster construction and harming the team's chances to succeed. And so I will say,
but what is he harming on the roster?
Well, so you could
team player don't do nothing in the playoffs anyway.
No, but that could be a spot for someone who you never know could have been somebody's spot who you never know could have ended up being a worthwhile contributor. You don't know that.
Now we're playing the could have been. I could have been 7 foot tall if my parents were 6'5" and 7.
But you don't know. And at the end of the day, like we talked about earlier, sports, much like lower enlisted in the military, is supposed to be the ultimate meritocracy, right? You do your thing, you bust your butt, and you earn what you get. And we know that he didn't do that. And for me, that's extremely frustrating. That's problematic. And we know that this is all about the show, you know? What we got? What about Thanasis? So I knew somebody was going to go there. So that's cool. So when Thanasis got drafted by the New York Knicks, the New York Knicks, not the Bucks, when Thanasis got drafted, Giannis was averaging 6 points per game. So we're going to make a false equivalency here as if Giannis went and got his brother drafted, which we know is not the case. So let's go ahead and stop that because that's faulty. Yeah.
However, why does Giannis have a job?
So I understand that I'm not saying that Giannis has not helped to keep his brother employed.
I'm like, Giannis is nowhere near deserving of a roster spot on that roster.
But the difference is, like I said, Giannis at least earned his way in, right? So I think that's a different situation. Giannis didn't pull strings to get Thanasis drafted. So I think that's an apples to oranges. That's not the same thing. And then you have guys. Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. You're right. If his last name wasn't James, we all know he wouldn't have been drafted. There's no question about that. I don't know that we have to. I don't know that why we have to continue to play this game as if everyone doesn't know that. It's bad juju in the locker room when a player is untouchable, but there's several other players getting cut and put on 10 days when they're actually better players. And I'll tell you what else is interesting. We know that historically, LeBron James is a guy who does not like young players. He doesn't like young players. Now, of course, that's his son. So is he going to treat his son like everyone else, or is he gonna treat his son with, obviously some favoritism? Of course, but we know historically LeBron does not like young players. So it's very disturbing to me that we're seeing all this, and so much of this is the Lakers not trying to win. And as a Celtics fan, that hurts me because I love the competition and I love it in the league when the Celtics and the Lakers are great at the same time, right? Again, I always want to beat them. But I want them to be great at the same time. It's better for basketball, right?
Okay.
And so here's one of the things. I'm frustrated because Bronny is taking spots at every turn, and it's disturbing, right? So check this out. I was listening to Up on Game on Fox Sports Radio earlier today with LeVar Arrington, TJ Hushmanzada, and Plaxico Burress, and something interesting that I had never heard before came up. So we're going to go ahead and play this, then we're going to come back and get into it. Check it out.
Prior to the season, we all know he had a heart attack, and he almost lost his life. Yeah. When you endure something so tragic, and it could end fatally, just the recovery physically. We're not talking the mental recovery. We're talking just the physical part of it. You know how hard that was for him to bounce back from that? Because as you guys recall, or as you should recall, was he not going into his freshman year at USC rated as a lottery pick? Was he not?
That's cap. Come on, man.
No, it's
That's
no,
cap.
it's
he wasn't even, bro. He was not even all. He was not even, bro. He was not even first team. He wasn't even first team here in California.
Listen,
he wasn't even first team all CIF in California.
Go look it up. Go look it up.
Let me give you a bit.
Go look it up.
He was not a lottery pick.
By the way, LeVar. Tim Hardaway told me tell you what's up, man.
Tell him what up, though.
He's a good man. That's a great man right there. But I will say this.
Hey, did I tell y'all the Tim Hardaway story?
Tim Hardaway told me. Tim Hardaway went on the airwaves and said this, that LeBron James actually called the McDonald's All-American Basketball Association and told them to put his son on the basketball team.
Listen, man.
It's true story.
Come on, why I got to be hating, though? Is it really
hating?
It
ain't hating.
TJ, how's it hating?
Listen,
you got to call them and tell them to put your son on the team?
That's crazy, right? So we knew that, obviously, Bronny has been getting some special treatment. He's been getting pushed through and all that. I didn't know that.
That's my first time hearing that.
And so I would assume that Tim Hardaway Sr. is pretty linked in on this stuff. And so if he said it, I would assume that that's going to be true. Because if he goes on the air and says that, it's very easy for somebody to fact check him on that. So he's not just going to make that up and put it out there. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt for that statement. And I think that's crazy, that you're going to put it out there publicly. So we know now He didn't deserve to be a high school All-American, right? I'm sorry, a McDonald's All-American. We heard because LeVar Arrington lives out there in Cali, so he says he didn't make first team for whatever region that was. Okay,
in
so
Cali,
we know
California.
that, right? So we know that. So we know that, and then now, obviously, we know that, and again, recovering from that cardiac incident, major kudos to him and major props for that. But isn't that alone enough that we should know that how many teams are going to draft a player who is less than 1 year removed from a major cardiac incident? That alone is not going to happen. Then we can't forget that we heard Rich Paul on major sports media go out there and say, if we wanted to, we had just forced him to take him at 17. So we know what's going on here. It is absurd.
That was never going to happen.
You know what? I think if LeBron wanted it to happen, it would have happened. If they'd have
LeBron is strong, but LeBron ain't that strong.
Happen.
LeBron ain't that strong. He's not that strong. Because that'd have been stupid.
It would have been stupid,
completely freaking stupid.
He could have made it happen.
I think he knows enough to be like, okay, because the 55th pick, you can get away with that. That's that you basically undrafted. You're six players away from being undrafted. Nobody cares about the 55th. Name me the 55th pick in the last 6 years. Name me the last 55th pick in the last 10 years.
No idea, bro.
20 years. You have no idea. It's a complete gamble. So when people say it's affecting the roster, how? Nobody cares about the 55th pick of the draft. Not only that, they've already announced that they're going to put him in the G League. I said that. He's going to the G League. He's going to the G League. So everybody's like, oh, he's taking a roster spot, yada, yada, yada. He's going to the G League. But why isn't he?
Why isn't he? That's somebody more deserving who's there that shouldn't be. Right? That's somebody. Why isn't he taking a spot? There's somebody more deserving who should be there that isn't because he is. Right? Viral Industries. What do you mean, bro? It's LeBron James. Are you crazy? Let me hear your thoughts on that. Go ahead, put it in the chat, man.
Who, Viral Industries?
Yeah, I'm not following what his comments are on that. But yeah,
he wasn't supposed to get drafted, but him signing guaranteed is taking a spot.
Oh, there you go. Right?
It's other 50-something picks getting signed guaranteed money. Are we talking about them?
Well, no, isn't so there's a guy, I can't remember his name. I was reading about it earlier. He was first team all ACC this year, played for Pitt. 4 years in college, led the ACC in 3-point percentage, and he's also on the Lakers team, and he got some 2-year, 2-way deal. Meanwhile, Bronny, who has not clearly done nearly as much as him, gets 4 years guaranteed. I'm just saying, we know what it is. Nino was good, man. I was wondering where you were. Okay.
Because of Dwight's not in the league, they're still better than some players. I don't know why Dwight not in the league. Nino, I wanted him. Nino, don't get me started, Nino.
Yeah, Nino, that's a different discussion.
Delete that comment, Nino. That's going light another fire, man. Delete that comment.
Here we go, Dominique. He has a 4-year contract when other guys that played like him would be absolutely. So let's talk about that a little bit. And again, let me say this. I didn't see most of that game. I saw the very beginning, then I got dragged to the store. So I didn't see most of that game. But I'm also not going to attack the young man for his first summer league game. Like,
no, because he's not. You want to talk about Bronny, right? Talk about Connect. What kind of game did Connect have? Connect was just as awful. So we're talking about game 1 roles of a rookie. Come on, man, miss me with that.
Yeah. No,
you don't know basketball. Like, let the man develop. These kids still need to develop. He's going to develop. Nobody ever said he was going to be implemented into the starting 5 or he's going to be a key hog in a championship run. He's on a roster about to throw an alley-oop to LeBron. After that, he's going to the league. It's fun. We know what this is about.
Yeah, we will. We will. And so here's but see, the crazy part is we know what this is about, but cats are trying to play us like we don't have any sense, right? And so first, let's even get into that. So we talked a little bit earlier about LeBron and how he always plays the long game, right? So we heard about for years now how it's his dream to play with his sons. But now listen to what his son had to say about that.
People made a big thing about it. One time your dad was like, "Oh, it's like my dream to play with my son," but I don't know if anybody had ever asked you, did you ever dream about playing with your dad, for you, or what went to it from your perspective?
No, never. My dream has always just been to put my name out, make a name for myself, and of course, get to the NBA, which I never thought about just playing with my dad, but he's brought it up a couple times. But yeah, I don't think about it much.
So that's the thing, right? So this is why I'm saying. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna call 50-50 on that.
Okay.
Because one, when he was about 15, 16 years old, how old was LeBron James?
Was that 4 years ago? So about 35?
So about 35, 36.
Yeah, right in there.
Bronny ain't thinking by the time he get to be 19, 20 years old. This man is in year 22 and still balling? Who saw that coming? That man
you don't think they talked about all that? You don't think they talked about that? Come on, man.
I'm pretty sure they talked about it, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the fork on, I'm going to be able to play with my dad. Nobody ever thought. Everybody wants to play with their dad, theoretically speaking. You know what I mean? Right. I'm pretty sure he was just like, I'm actually about to play with this man. This man is still, y'all ain't kicked this old man out the league yet. You know what I mean? So, but then a part of that, he is LeBron James Jr. He know how to lie good.
No, not necessarily.
Man, he know how to lie good if he needs
Politically correct answer. He wants to show he's his own man. No, I don't believe that he wants to play with his dad. I really don't. I think he wants to make his own way, and that's a lot of spotlight. And how can he ever truly spread his wings and become his own man if he's playing under LeBron? I don't think he can. I don't see it. Nino, what you got here? My point is, it's all about the best players in the league. How come they're not? Politics is and always has been a part of league and life. Fair is a place with roller coasters. True. I heard fair is a place where they judge pigs.
But same thing.
Yeah, but no. But see, Nino, the problem is, again, sports is supposed to be the meritocracy. If you go out there and do the work, you're supposed to be rewarded for that. And that's the problem. But okay. Viral industries, Bronny just up there lying, being a robotic NPC. I don't know what that means, NPC, but
non-playable character. Okay. He plays a lot of RPG games. That's video game talk.
I got you. No, I don't think he's lying. I really think that he would rather get out from underneath his dad's wings and get out underneath all that spotlight. And it's crazy.
Because I think
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he came out, he admitted that's not his dream, and I truly don't think it is. I think that's his father's dream. Let's go ahead and take this call. Let's see what that is. Let's take this call and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Format Podcast. Who's this?
This is Dominique calling in. How's it going, Bruce?
Dominique, what's good? Good to hear from you.
Oh my God. Can I pause for just a second?
Hey, Dominique, hold on. B wants to say something. Go ahead, B.
I'm here.
Dominique.
Talk to me nice.
I will, because first of all, I didn't know you were a lady. I called you bruh and man earlier. I apologize. I had no idea.
You don't have to apologize. Dominique,
you go ahead.
I could have been Dominique Wilkins.
Right.
That's why I'm like, I assumed you were a guy. There's no profile pic. So I'm like, but I just wanted to say that. Go ahead. Speak.
I appreciate you for clearing that up. I think one thing that's really important to notate here is that it is about race. I see folks in the comments saying that we're making it about race or we're making it about that. We're not making it about race. LeBron is one of the biggest Black leaders in America, right? He's a Black sports hero, and every decision that he makes could potentially change the course of how we do things in the future, right? So when we're talking about LeBron putting his son on the team, there's a couple of things that don't make sense that people are saying is, it's nepotism has happened, our whole lives. We see it in the front office. We see it with Giannis and Thanasis. What does Thanasis have to do with this? He wasn't made a draft spectacle. And worse, he wasn't interrupted during his thank you speech for being given an opportunity to be telling the American people that he deserved it, that he earned it.
And we're going to get to that.
Because that's what JJ Redick stepped in and said, hey, you earned this.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't earn shit. And we all know that, right? I mean, any guy that had a heart attack or even fuck a heart attack, okay? Any kind of major injury that you face in college is getting drafted. Nobody Nobody's getting drafted after a heart attack, let alone, a serious injury. They're going to think, hey, you're not, you really shouldn't be coming into the league. We're not going to spend and invest in you. But LeBron never wanted to play with young players, right? He traded away Julius Randle when he got to the Lakers. He traded away Brandon Ingram, all these people. But all of a sudden, the Lakers are going to create a developmental program for players. That's what we have happening. And the bottom line here is that you can't inherit athletic success. That's not something that LeBron can pass down to Bronny, but we're seeing that they're going to try to manufacture his career. And let's be honest, what I'm going to say right now, the next thing is going to probably sound crazy to people, but the Lakers they've turned into the Kardashians.
That does not sound crazy at all.
They are the Kardashians. They're a talentless team. They have an 84-year-old LeBron. They have Anthony Davis, who plays sometimes well and sometimes not well. And then the rest of their team is just there to be spot-up shooters for LeBron because he has so many holes in his game. You think DeMar DeRozan wants to go to the Lakers?
No.
I don't think so. He's going to have to become a three-point shooter, which he's just not that person, right?
Yeah, that's not his game.
Then you have, Kobe Bryant is rolling over in his grave right now.
Facts.
He traded away Lamar Odom because he didn't want the Kardashians on his team. And now that's what the Lakers have become. Jeannie Buss has turned the Lakers into the Kardashians. That's why Magic Johnson wanted out of the organization. It's not being ran properly. And Rich Paul and LeBron, they're clearly not qualified to run an organization because they're just self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball is about teams. And now we see the teams, it's not even a thing anymore. It's all about the individual. It's all about how much money these players can squeeze out of the team. And I'm okay with that just because players are paycheck slaves, even though they've got golden handcuffs on them now. But when you really take a look at this league and what's happening, guys who are really good are not getting any credit. Guys who play as a team and, really just want to win, that's not on display. It's the Kardashians, the reality show of the Lakers. That's what we're going to talk about every day. That's what LeBron wants. It's not nepotism, it's narcissism. It's a psychological issue. It's an issue of being uneducated and believing and trying to convince the American public that it's, this is so great because white people have been doing it for years. No, now what's going to happen is that, let's say Trump becomes in presidency, they're going to be taking a look at DEI programs, cutting them because, hey, we have Bronny, and LeBron's family benefiting from, just from being LeBron. LeBron, I think Mel even said it on Man Down the other day, maybe the daughter can come into the NBA too.
Maybe what? Who?
Zuri.
Zuri, maybe she'll be, LeBron will retire and then come out of retirement and say, I just want to play with my daughter in the NBA. It's my long life dream, I just think it's really completely ridiculous that we're sitting here having to defend the fact that Bronny does not deserve a spot in the league and this much attention. So it's not just that. I don't think it's a problem that he's on the Lakers with LeBron. Let me just be clear in that. I'm not a Bronny hater.
Right.
I don't care that he's actually in the NBA. But yes, the 55th draft pick should not be getting this much attention.
Correct.
But it's LeBron James. That's why I disagree wholeheartedly.
But that's why he shouldn't be putting his child who just had a heart attack in this position. You're forcing your child to be in the NBA. He just had a heart attack. He played for USC like poop. What are we talking about? The best player on USC didn't get drafted, but Bronny did. That's a problem.
At the end of the day, he came back and he was able to get on the court.
Flex, though. I hear
that
you.
That is a huge flex for fatherhood.
This is not a. I'm going to tell you why it's not a flex.
No, it's not.
It's not a flex. If this was the movie industry, if this was the banking industry, if this was literally the industry of owning a team. So if LeBron was owning a team and put his son in the front office, that's a flex. You want to know why? Because there's no more black ownership. That's a flex. But
Great
we
point.
are the best athletes. And what he did was he took an opportunity from one of his own. He took an opportunity from us. He didn't take an opportunity from some white guy that, was balling out there. That didn't happen. And especially as now what we're seeing, the league is 70% black, where it used to be 100%. Like, you know, these European players, the league is trying to phase us out. They're saying we don't want more of this. We don't want the American black athlete, who is the best athlete still, to continue to take over this league. They are going to do everything that they can to make sure that LeBron doesn't own anything. He's going to have to be a part of an ownership group. I doubt that he's going to be able to solely own a team the way that Michael Jordan did. They don't want
how bad that went.
you. He's going to have to get all his kids in the NBA. Okay? But this is not a flex. He's just putting his son to be a paycheck slave, and he doesn't have to be because he was born rich. So all he did was take an opportunity. LeBron was once that guy. He was poor, right? Supposedly. So he was poor. He grew up. He needed, black people use the league and the NFL and all the other sports, you know, leagues in order to create generational wealth for his family. And LeBron took that opportunity from another poor black kid in Bumblefuck, wherever, okay, that needed this. That needed that $1 million a year just to, you know, just to get his mom out of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
But LeBron doesn't care about that.
Nope. He cares about himself.
About himself and trying to assert himself as the GOAT when nobody believes that. Nobody's going to believe it. It doesn't matter how many narratives he puts out there. It doesn't matter how many media people he pays off. And additionally, he's even further, you know, he's an Uncle Tom. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He is an Uncle Tom. He has fired multiple black coaches. He's fired multiple black coaches. Mike Brown, I think someone said it in the comments, directly after he was coach of the year.
Yep.
He got him clipped. Mm-hmm. He got Darvin Ham fired.
Yep.
All to do what? To hire a white guy that also didn't need the opportunity. That had a famous, podcast that's been going viral for years now. He not only did he just give him the job, he also started a podcast with him so that he can continue to spread lies.
He fired Frank Vogel and got Darvin Ham, so I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. He fired the European coach and got Tyronn Lue. He's black, so that doesn't make any sense at all.
What doesn't make any sense? That he's an Uncle Tom?
Yeah,
no, what B is saying is that
coach, like he's had white coaches fired to hire black coaches. That doesn't make sense.
For LeBron, he doesn't even recognize that's his lack of education. He doesn't even recognize the fact that when you get a black coach fired to bring in a white one, what that looks like and what that does. And the fact that
white coaches too
literally was not. Yes, he's just hiring anybody that's going to do his bidding.
Right, that's going to play along with his program.
It might not be racially motivated, but I'm telling you that it has a domino effect of having an impact on race and our racial relations. Absolutely. Because when you go ahead and put an unqualified white coach as your head coach of the Lakers, a storied franchise where, this is a coveted role that multiple people are going after, multiple people with experience like Mark Jackson, like Ty Lue, he was actually somebody that interviewed, I think it was last season but right before Darvin Ham became the coach. You had Sam Cassell, Rajon Rondo. These are people who actually won a title, not a serial loser like JJ Redick. Not someone who was never won in college, didn't win in the NBA. He won nothing. He wasn't even a successful role player. Why and how is he qualified to coach the Lakers? When you have people who actually won titles and championships that were interviewing for that job. And don't tell me that nobody wanted it. Plenty of people want that
job.
That's
the Lakers job.
JJ Redick was given the job because he coached 9-year-olds, and LeBron believes that he's the best coach to develop his trash son. And I am going to talk bad about Bronny because he's not a good NBA player, and he's pretending.
That's not on him. I don't think he deserves it. He doesn't deserve it.
It's absolutely on him. He's an adult.
He doesn't deserve it.
But was he?
So
Dominic,
he didn't play well, and I'm going to critique him just like I would anybody else.
So that's fair. That's fair. But to bash him, that's not fair.
So let me ask you this, Dominic.
Bashing. This is my opinion. I'm not bashing. I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just letting you know that he is wearing a costume and doesn't belong in the NBA.
So Dominic, let me ask you this.
That's different than calling them names, though.
Hold on, B. Hold on.
I'm not calling him a name. I didn't call him a name. I'm telling you that he's wearing a costume. He's wearing the same costume that Ben Simmons is wearing.
Oh wow. Let me ask you this, Dominique.
NBA players wearing a costume. Bronny's another one of them.
So if you damn, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. I thought I lost what I was gonna ask you. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Like I'm not bashing a kid. He's in the NBA. He's not a kid. He's an adult. He's 19 years old and he has no business being here. And I'm going to speak on that. And that's exactly what LeBron is banking on. The narratives that people are just hating on Bronny because he's like Caitlin Clark. Let me tell you, Caitlin Clark was the top, player in college. And look, I call her CC0. I don't think she was that great, but she was way better than Bronny. I'd put her on the Lakers before Bronny.
And get killed.
I think
she can shoot the ball. Did we see him shooting bricks? He has a slow release. He doesn't even have the potential to get better.
He won't be able to shoot the ball when she getting checked.
You're assuming that he's going to the G League, and he's not going there. Do you think LeBron?
They've already stated it that he's going to the G League.
Yeah, they did say that. We got that clip.
Thank you. No, they already stated that. He's going to the G League. We know
he's
that.
Going to the G League to train. He's not going to come back in a Lakers uniform.
Oh no. Oh, he will. He will.
Starting lineup.
Oh yeah. That's the point of the G League.
He's going to the G League to train for this during the off season.
Right. So we got the clip and we're gonna play that shortly from Woj when he's talking about.
Things. He's not relegated to the G League.
Correct.
So let's be clear.
Correct.
Let's not create a false narrative that he's relegated to the G League.
Yeah, that's not happening.
He has a 4-year guaranteed contract with the Lakers. He's guaranteed at minimum to have a seat on the bench at the end of the bench, but he's going to have a seat there. Okay. And he will be on the floor. He will be playing. We're going to be forced to see that.
We're going to witness the alley-oop and we're going to praise hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Well, I just want to thank you guys. What'd you say?
No. I would say I appreciate your feedback, Dominique. Thank you for the call. I liked it because, like I said, that's why I played your clip from Man Down Sports the other night, because you presented it in a way that I had not previously considered. So we definitely appreciate you calling in and giving your feedback on that.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was really wonderful to listen and be a part of the comments as well.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, put that frying pan down. I think Luka's all burned up, man.
He's still talking.
Luka, along with several of the other European players, I think Giannis is probably the most athletic, but he's the least skilled. They cannot run, jump, or dunk the ball. They should not be in the NBA. They need to go back to Europe and develop their game. They can't play defense. That's why we have no defense. It's because of them, because they can't take the hit. They can't move their feet. They can't run or jump the ball or dunk the ball. That's what we see.
You know what's
funny? Long before they got here.
That's exactly what Gilbert Arenas said on Gil's Arena. And everybody thought he was joking, but he was serious when they were talking about the defense issue. And he was like, get all the Euros up out of here.
It's a fact. They need to take the traveling back to Europe. We don't need to adopt their style. We don't need that nonsense. We need athleticism. We need high-flying dunks. We need folks that can shoot the ball, dribble, penetrate into the paint. We need to get back to, where all 5 positions are valued, because that's real basketball. That's team basketball. That's what I want to see. That's why I'm watching the WNBA. That's why women's college basketball was way more exciting this year than all of basketball. The totality of basketball, whether it was NBA, men's college, women's college basketball beat all of basketball this year because they play all 5 positions and they actually really play the strongest fundamentals of the game.
Fair enough.
I agree because, the Eastern Conference messed that up for all of NBA. When Embiid went down, Giannis goes down, Boston walks through the East, and then nobody wants to see Boston.
Hey, man. Hey. You went too far, bro.
All of the Europeans are lacking in their game. You have Embiid, who would prefer to shoot perimeter shots instead of attacking the paint. You have Luka, who shows up to the NBA with a dad bod, just like James Harden. I mean, you can't win like that. You can't. And until he gets himself into shape, he won't make it back to the final.
Fair enough. Let me speak to something else that you said earlier, Dominique, that I think maybe is causing a bit of consternation, right? And I think some people are taking it as you are having the that you're taking a shot at how a black man is raising his son. And, you know, I'm a black man and I have a son. And this is something that's bothersome to me because I've said it in my personal discussions with other people on this issue and publicly. This whole business of how a black man is raising his son, it really irks me. It really irks me because, first of all, that's like saying we're a monolith and black men can only raise their son one way. So that needs to stop. We need to stop thinking black people can only do things a certain way, or they're not black, or they're not black enough. We need to get rid of that crap. So that's one. Two, I have a son, as I said, and I do not believe in just handing my son things. He needs to know the value of things and things that are earned, and how when you earn something, it means more to you, and how when you have to earn it, you will work harder for it. Now, again, I'm not taking a shot at Bronny, but the fact is he didn't earn this, and we'll hear the clip of that shortly after this call, but he didn't earn this, and everyone knows he didn't earn it. And say again, I'm sorry?
He knows he didn't earn it.
He knows he didn't earn it.
He didn't earn it.
Correct. And so it's frustrating to me that when we comment on this, it's, why are you talking about how another black man is raising his son? So am I raising my son wrong because I don't believe that I should hand him something? I'm a black man. Am I less of a black man for doing it? Like this is absurd, and we've got to stop thinking like this. I really don't like it.
Absolutely not less of a black man. It's a lack of education, and people try to conflate things with other things that have nothing to do with anything. I'm totally fine if LeBron wants to hand his son multiple things. He's rich. He can spend his money how he pleases. He can get his son any opportunities that he wants. But when you take a look at what happened with Bronny in the draft, it's no different from what happened with the 2010 decision. And that's why people can't stand LeBron. He is not a real person. Okay. He is a narcissist, and he has psychological issues that can't be solved on the court, and it can't be solved off the court. Okay. He needs to figure out how the person that he is, he needs to be genuine. People respect authenticity.
That's a fact.
And
everybody
really
thinks he's phony.
Being yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of saying things that don't make sense, lying to the American public, we expect the truth. Like we really do respect the truth. We do. And I believe that his fans are completely delusional. Comparing this to how a black man raises his son, no one's saying that Bronny James can't have a job. No one's saying that he can't have a job in the NBA. Okay? But it's the spectacle around it. Right. It's making it seem like he's like, literally, we celebrated his 55th draft pick. Drake brought him out. That's what happened. Drake brought him out.
What?
We celebrated him like he was a first round pick. Like he was the number 1 draft pick.
Right.
And he wasn't best in high school.
Correct.
Does anybody
we talked about
realize that he went from being a 55th recruit to all of a sudden they're saying that he was 19. His junior year, he was ranked 55.
Right. And we heard.
And then every week he went up to 4. Then he went up to 45. And then all of a sudden he's on the McDonald's team. Yeah. Which needs to be investigated.
Well, we heard.
Let's be for real.
I don't know if you heard it earlier. I don't know if you heard it earlier. I played the clip from Up on Game earlier today. And Plaxico Burress was saying that Tim Hardaway told him, matter of fact, said on air, that LeBron called the McDonald's people and got him on the team. So
of course he did, and LeBron openly said that he was going to make these phone calls. So that's the one thing. Like LeBron's not hiding it that he's going to make these phone calls.
Right.
LeBron's not hiding it that he wants Bronny to play with him. He's openly said that. He's openly doing these things. It's the idea that he earned it. It's the idea that he was better than guys that were playing with him last year. Because that's what he said, that Bronny is qualified to suit up for the Lakers right now. He's better than most of the guys in the league right now.
Right. That's what he tweeted. That is correct.
So when you say things like that, you're putting a target on your own son's back. He's not no Caitlin Clark. Don't compare him to that.
Right.
Because you are putting the target on his back. Not fans, not the media, you. Nobody cared about Bronny James.
No, that's
Bryce
a fact.
James
because
is probably better than both of them.
Yeah.
When I watch Bryce, I see him shooting from anywhere.
Bryce got the build to be better.
Off the ball. He doesn't need a high screen to start his offense. Okay? He's better than both of them. Opinion.
I hear you on that.
But we're sitting here making Bronny James a spectacle, a draft spectacle.
Yeah.
And every day we're gonna have to talk about him as though he was Kim and Kanye. He's a Kardashian.
No,
and that's
you're
what
absolutely
LeBron
right.
is turning into. His career has been over since 2016. And
whoa. Excuse me.
Man, don't even start with the don't even start with the politics.
A championship is a championship, baby.
Black excellence.
No, Dominique, I'm gonna tell you something here that's my personal thought. If you don't think like every other black person and you don't worship someone that another black person thinks you should, apparently you hate black excellence. So I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm not. That's a whole nother.
Look, I want everybody to know that I love black excellence. I love the idea of LeBron giving Bronny opportunities to further his legacy and all of that. I just think that he could have done anything if he gave him a production company and we started to see more, black produced TV shows and movies and all of those things. I'd be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
But sports is the one place. It's the one and only place where your success is earned. It's the only place where your success is earned. So Bronny is not going to be able to inherit athletic success from LeBron.
Yeah, I feel
he's making a mockery of the NBA and a complete joke of the Lakers. And he doesn't deserve a statue there or anything. They need to move away from him because they're not even making any money from this. That's the best part of it all, is they're not even making any money. Winning always makes money. It doesn't matter what franchise you have, whether you're in LA or whether you're in Bumblefuck. You win, and that's going to have sold out arenas, and that is what's going to bring your organization success, is winning.
That's what I always thought, but apparently it's not like that anymore.
Lakers fans are disgusted. LeBron can't even go. LeBron can't even play without a fan in the crowd calling him a bitch or a pussy or something like that, and then he's crying on court and getting people ejected.
And that, you know what, to that point, I thought it was very interesting because there's going to be people who are going to be, especially on the road, who's going to talk greasy to Bronny, and LeBron's going to be grabbing the ref, pulling him over there, pointing him out to try and get him thrown out of the game. And all that is part of what Bronny has to learn to deal with. But again, he can't. It's going to be very difficult for him to
be removed from the crowd. When they start chanting that Bronny sucks, these people are going to be removed from the crowd. They might just go ahead and the Lakers might just decide to make it like 2020 again, where there's no fans.
Wow. Well, that's one thing I'll say about Lakers fans. They're always. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. But Dominique, let me let you go.
It's never going to be an issue.
Carry on with this. You got a lot to say, and we really appreciate it. Great insight. Thank you so much for calling. Stick around because we got a little bit more before we close it down for the night to tidy up this topic.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Great show tonight, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So
alrighty, bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So Dominique made a lot of outstanding comments. We definitely I rather enjoyed watching her and the Transformer go back and forth. That was entertaining. Not really go back and forth.
I got a rebuttal.
Yeah, definitely. And so, a lot of good stuff there. So where were we? So one of the things that you talked about, Transform, was that the G League. And this is something I never thought that LeBron would allow his son to end up in the G League. But Woj, NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski for ESPN, is reporting the following. How true it is, I do not know, but this is what he's reporting. So let's check that out. We'll come back and talk about it.
And for more on the Lakers, we welcome in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. So what are people saying about the realistic expectations for Bronny?
Well, what the Lakers' expectations are is that he'll largely be a G League player, like almost any 19-year-old player coming into the league drafted in the second round. I think what you'll ultimately probably see is Bronny James in the first week of the season on the court with his father in a very, I don't want to call it ceremonial, but it's going to, the eyes of the world will be on that. They'll do that the first week of the season, but there's no expectation Bronny James is going to be in the Lakers rotation. He'll spend a lot of his time playing with their G League team, which shares a practice facility with the Lakers.
All right, so
that's accurate.
Well,
of a speculation, not saying like that,
right.
But that's
so,
the accurate projection of what's going to happen. We're going to bring Bronny in. We're going to have this whole moment of father-son duo, first ever in the NBA. Blase, shed your flowers. People had their tears. People have their cheers and everything to say. It becomes a media spectacle. After that, he goes to the G League.
All right, so first,
no, he's not ready.
First to your point, it is a media spectacle and it's all about the show, which is disturbing to me because the Lakers understood that the show was a vital part of this. They've always understood the entertainment value, but they put winning first because with winning comes the entertainment, right? It's really hard to be entertained by a bad losing product. And so this is where it's disturbing to me. And like we talked about earlier, like us as being, basketball rivals, Lakers, Celtics, we both want to see each other be outstanding products on the floor because we know it's better for basketball. It's better for the NBA, I should say. And so the Lakers at this point, they're so busy kowtowing to LeBron that they don't understand that trying to have a winning product would be the key, right? And so we see here that they want to have Bronny, what do you say, the first week or the first few games or whatever?
Yeah,
they want to have Bronny out there, right? Why? Because they can sell number 9 Lakers jerseys, right, Bronny?
Absolutely.
Why? Because they can sell tickets at a higher rate. LeBron and Bronny be a part of history, right? First guy ever to play with his son in the NBA, right? Why? Because they know that it's going to be a mega event the first time that Bronny throws that alley-oop and LeBron catches it, or vice versa, right? We know all of that. And like I've always talked about, this has always been about LeBron. I keep saying it, but it's always been about LeBron, and we're going to see that. And so let me make something of an analogy here, or attempt to. This is a situation where, let's say I own a company. I'm the CEO or the owner of the company. And I bring my son in and I say, hey, son, I want you to come work in the front office of my company for 2 weeks. And then I pull him out and then I send him to business school. Isn't that a little backwards? Shouldn't I send him to business school first, in this analogy, the G League, and then you come and you play, or then you come and work for me? Like, shouldn't you learn your craft first?
We know what the world wants to see.
Does the world really want to see it?
They're looking at both sides of the coin. The 55th pick always goes to the G League. All right. But this is more of like, hey, this is our era's GOAT. For the last 20 years, this man has been dominating this game. This is a ceremonious act. First father-son to ever play at the same time. We want to see, the world wants to see that. Like, damn, man, we've never seen it in the NBA. We saw Ken Griffey do it with Ken Griffey Jr. We saw that, right?
That's not the same, because Ken Griffey Jr. was the one who was better, right? He was the better player, and his father didn't get him drafted. Like, he earned that because he was an outstanding phenom in the sport. So that's not an apropos analogy. Like, that's not apples to apples at all.
But what I'm saying is,
what you got?
It's LeBron James we're talking about. The media wants to see this. It's something, such a phenomenon. We saw Bronny when he was first born.
Yeah.
The baby that he carried on the court, right? And to see him grow up to be a full adult and his father still being in the game, they're still trying to make that the focal point. That's why I'm not too upset. Money said they want to make their money by any means, right? Lakers want to make their money. Yes. Well, the media wants to make the NBA wants to make its money.
When they make more money. So listen, I'm a Celtics fan, but I know the Lakers are a bigger brand. You'll never hear me say that again.
Absolutely, biggest brand in
right.
NBA.
No question, right? I can't argue that with you. It is what it is, right? So that being said, the Lakers should, or at one point understood, that winning makes the most money. Why does winning make you the most money? Because you have long playoff runs, right? With a lot of home games, right? So that means you're selling more tickets, and you're dealing with that, right? You're selling more tickets. You have more home playoff games. You got parking. You got paraphernalia. You got food and all that stuff, right? All this money that you're generating from that. And then, of course, if you win, you can sell all the winter merch and blah, 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 right? So the winning is the way that you make the most money. Then you add the show on to that. You don't replace winning with the show. Magic Mr. You know what I'm saying? Magic Mr. always cheesing, always out there doing his thing, right? But guess what? He was out there to cut your throat to win. Am I right? Because he understood what came first. again, I'm going to use the quote that I love from him from NBA Superstars too. You play this game for 3 reasons: to win, to have fun, and to make people happy. You see what he put first? Why do you think he's so disgusted with this whole thing? Because they're not about winning. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Let me go ahead and take this call. Sneed, what you got, my man? Hello?
Bruce.
What's good, Sneed? What you got, man?
Hey, man, when do we get to start evaluating GM LeBron? When do we get to start doing that?
Well, listen, I've already been for years.
Technically, he's successful 3 times.
This is terrible.
All
what?
Right, let's do it. Let's line up some of the moves. Let's talk about some of the calls he made, some of the roster decisions he made. Let's start evaluating all of his moves. This is one of them, right? He had a son drafted, so we'll evaluate that once Bronny has played out his career. We'll see how that was a good draft pick, right? But let's talk about LeBron, the GM. Let's talk about those moves.
The GM. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and try to break down that whole thing. I'm just gonna say a lot of people love the fact that LeBron has power and that he's flexing it, man. Fantastic, but I'll say this, and I've said this before. What I am anxious to see is LeBron James when he becomes an owner, because we know he will become an owner. And he gets a player because, he wants to stack teams. So he's going to try and get the best player. And that player wants to flex his muscles for the organization. Then we're going to see how much LeBron James really and truly believes in player empowerment. That's what I'm waiting to see. I'm not going to run down all that. Go ahead.
I believe that Dominique is going to be right. I believe Dominique's point about him not truly having the opportunity to own a team, but having to be in an ownership group. I think that is a high probability. I think she's going to be right. I don't know. You got here's one of the things that we have to remember. These owners of these teams are old white dudes.
They are.
And we know about the checkered past between owners, and you can go across any sport. It doesn't even have to just be the NBA.
Right.
I mean, we can go back to Donald Sterling. We could talk Donald Sterling. Right? That's not unique. There are 30 other Donald Sterlings. You know what I'm like? That's not an exaggeration. You saw what happened in Phoenix. And people said the same thing about Dan Gilbert in Cleveland when he wrote that letter and all those things about LeBron. So it's not going to be easy. I don't think he has endeared himself.
Dan Gilbert was a GM.
The way that Michael Jordan perhaps did when he became the owner of the Bobcats. Wasn't it the Bobcats at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty seamless. I don't think it was difficult for Jordan to become an owner of a team like I think LeBron's going to find the troubles with.
Yeah, I don't know. I think LeBron he's huge. He's big for the NBA. He's got the money. I think he's going to be a majority owner. I do. I really believe that.
Especially if they do another expand, they create another team.
Yeah, and I think he's got his eyes on that Las Vegas franchise.
He's going to be first dibs.
I believe so.
So we all agree it's going to have to be a new team. Nobody's going to sell him their team.
Yeah, no, I don't.
No. It's got to be a new team.
Yeah, it's going to definitely have to be a new team. If they do an expansion, Bron is going to be the first one.
Yeah, I think he's eyeing the Las Vegas franchise because there will be a franchise in Vegas because too much money not to. So, yeah,
it's a big time market. I mean, it's definitely deserving of a team because
it's got everything else, right? It's got football now.
Support it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's got NFL. It's got I think NFL. It's got NHL.
It's got a baseball team out there, right?
Baseball. I don't know.
There's winning on those teams too.
Yeah.
They win chips.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
Aces,
right.
Aces what? Back to back?
Aces back to back. Golden Knights won last year, not this year, but the previous year. And then obviously the Raiders are the Raiders, so they'll always have a following.
Nobody shows out like Vegas when it comes to travelers.
Correct.
10 million unique visitors per week.
There you go. That's crazy.
Vegas is gonna be Vegas.
That's crazy. All right, Sneed, you got anything else, man? Let's go ahead and tighten up this topic.
Good show.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for calling in.
This was a good one right here, boy.
Oh, this is a very good one. This is a very good one. All right, so getting back to this topic before we close it out, we still got a couple more things to talk about. So we talked about the fact that it's not Bronny's dream to play with his dad, and that's again reinforcing the point that I've always said, that this is about LeBron, and Dominique's point that it's about his narcissism, not nepotism, and I really like how she phrased that as well. Bronny starts with and then we talked about my surprise in Wojnarowski reporting that Bronny may end up in the G League following some, high profile opening season appearances. But this is one of the ones that really kind of irked me. And this is JJ Redick. And have you noticed, like, I know you've listened to a lot of his public speaking as Lakers head coach so far. He's got this tone, and I didn't notice it as much on first take, but when I noticed it here, and obviously,
like he's an asshole.
Yeah, like I'm so much smarter than all of you, and you guys are all idiots, right?
Smart asshole.
Right, like I get it. You're a smart guy. You went to Duke, good school. You're there 4 years, got a real degree, all that. Cool. You were under one of the greatest coaches of all time, Coach K. Respect all of that. But and you worked in the media for a number of years, so you're familiar with how all this goes. But he's not even pretending. Like the smugness is really rubbing me the wrong way. And
but the thing about it, he's been like that though.
Yeah, but it seems even worse now.
First take, I'll be thinking sometimes he about to smack Stephen A. across the face when I
don't know. I think it's even worse now. But we heard at the introductory rookie press conference when I don't have this clip, pardon me, when Bronny said he wants to thank JJ and Rob for what they gave him, right? What they gave him.
And he cut him off
because he knows what it is, right? So check this out. This is what JJ had to say following it, and it's two things I want to point out. The word salad that he uses towards the end of this, again, trying to confuse everyone, and then the flat out lie that he tells towards the beginning. So check this out. We'll come back and discuss it.
With Bronny, I want to clarify one thing you just said, which is Rob and I did not give Bronny anything. Bronny has earned this, right? Bronny talks about his hard work. Bronny has earned this through hard work. And for us, prioritizing player development, we view Bronny as like case study one, because his base level of feel, athleticism, point of attack defender, shooting, passing, there's a lot to like about his game. And as we sort of build out our player development program holistically, he's going to have a great opportunity to become an excellent NBA player.
So, all right, so you heard the first part. Where
correct.
Flat out.
Somebody's going to type it. Somebody's going to type it. Politically correct. Go ahead.
So the first part where he flat out lied, oh, well, he wasn't given anything. He's earned it. Like, come on, we're not dumb. We know what this is, right? And then number two, what the hell was all that word salad about the holistic and player development program and all? Yep. Since when has LeBron James ever cared about player development? He doesn't. But what was that whole word salad? Right. But he never has, though. He's always tried to get, for the most part, get young players up out of there and get established veterans that he thought could help him win, right? But even beyond all that, what is this? What was he talking about with the player development program and case study number one and holistically and all that? Like, what you're trying to do is spin it so that people don't know what you're talking about by design.
So for my Lakers hat is on, right?
Yes.
I think this is the twilight. This is the twilight. Like, LeBron is about to be out of here. So we need to now take that mindset of like, okay, LeBron needed veterans. LeBron needed this. Now we need to get back to what builds franchises better. Player development. Younger, like getting these picks, developing our own players and not necessarily trading them away. I think that's what JJ Redick is kind of pointing to, that LeBron is just not going to say. Because LeBron has always been one way. Get these young boys out of here. Give me the veterans. I'm trying to help us win a championship. LeBron is
no. I need them to help me win a championship. You totally misphrased that.
What did I say?
Get these young boys out here. Get me these veterans. I need them to help me win a championship. Not I'm trying to help them win a championship. That ain't how it works. Nah.
Help them win a ring too. They all get a ring, bro.
No. You know what I'm saying.
They ain't gonna win without Bron.
No, all right, but let's go ahead, man. Let's go ahead.
Besides the point, right? But in my synopsis, and this is me wearing both hats, because one, JJ Redick's an asshole. He's going to curve every question and become politically correct. He's been in the media, so that boy knows how to. He knows how to speak. He knows how to speak. But what I heard is what people have been trying to say and what they want the Lakers to be. He's just now saying it. LeBron is on his way out the door. That's pretty much what I'm hearing. LeBron is on his way out the door. He signed a 1-year deal, in which I say is a 1-year deal because it's a 1-and-1. It's a 1 with a player's option. But he's on a 1-year deal. He's out the door. We need to get back to what winning is like, what building a franchise is like, what developing players is like. So that's what I heard. That's what I heard as a Laker fan. Player development. We're preparing for the exit of LeBron James. All right. What's after LeBron James? We have to develop. We have to get these guys in a system, bring these guys up, nurture these guys, and see who's going to be the next greatest either role player, a star, a superstar, whatever the case may be. So I think that's what he's alluding to. I get what people are saying, the way LeBron has played for the first 21 years. We're in 22. We're in year 22. We can't keep putting that back on. Well, Bron always needed veteran players. That's back when he was 38 and younger. The man's going on 40. We have to eventually look at the future and developing these players because this man is in his twilight. He just signed a 1-year deal. We got to prepare for his exit. We have to. So that's what I saw when he mentioned player development. Other than that, the rest of that was just wordplay. That boy was good with his words. The rest of that is role play.
It absolutely was.
You know what I mean? So that's what I saw from it.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a great comment. LeBron had the power to get Mark Jackson into coaching again, but clearly he doesn't want to use it for that, right? So
Mark Jackson. I think there's something against Mark Jackson.
Oh, clearly.
I think there because nobody's giving him a job. It's not just LA. I'm not gonna. I mean, I get what he's saying that Mark Jackson was available, but Mark Jackson been available for a lot of franchises. There's a lot of times he's been skipped over. I think it's something that he did when he was in Golden State.
There's something he allegedly did. There's something he allegedly did. We'll talk offline.
And I think that's the reason why he ain't got that job. So I used to be one to bat, but I started looking at him like, yo, it's something Mark Jack did. Because there's no way we're just letting him just sweeping him under the rug like he just didn't, do what he did in Golden State. So, but yeah, I get what he's saying though. JJ unqualified. I was on the Hurley bandwagon. I was with Atkinson. I was more on the side of Rondo. Yet Rondo has never coached before, but Rondo has won with both franchises.
Yeah.
He's a championship guy. You know what I mean? I would have understood that more. Right?
And remember, like point guards, it's always different because point guards are different and they understand the game better.
Floor generals, they know how to circle the team together. Like I'm calling the play, I'm running the offense. JJ never ran the offense. JJ was never the focal point of the team. JJ was never top 5 on his team. I mean, I can't say top 5. He was probably he was in the top 5. He was on the starting lineup, but you know what I'm saying? He was never the focal point of the team. So at that point, I'm like, okay, what are we getting? What do we get? That's what's frustrating me about my Lakers. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? You know what I mean? Like, granted, we're making LeBron happy. Braun was actually happy with Hurley. LeBron called Hurley himself, like, hey, yo, look. You know what I'm saying? Had that conversation. So I'm not
that wasn't going to last long. Even if Hurley took that job, that was not going to last long. You know why? Hurley he's a tough coach. He's a screamer. He's a yeller. Gino Auriemma, the great Gino Auriemma, arguably the greatest women's coach of all time. He was on an interview and said that Bobby Hurley runs his program. Dan Hurley runs his program at UConn the same way he ran his high school program. You think LeBron is going to have that? And then especially if you have a tough coach is going to get on Bronny, and LeBron is not going to be having that either. So nah, he make it sound good. He was down with Dan Hurley. That wasn't going to happen. Nope. And if it did, Dan Hurley, well, correction. It could have happened because they offered Dan Hurley the money, but Dan Hurley wasn't going to last. And remember, J.R. Smith put that tweet out, don't fall for it. So, he knows a lot about, working in close quarters with LeBron. No Diddy. He knows a lot about that. So
that was a good no Diddy. Boy, a good one. That was a good one.
I had to catch it.
No good catch, man. No Diddy.
All right, but look, let's do this, man. We've been running for almost 3 hours here.
I'm on here. It's long, ain't it?
Great calls. Really enjoyed it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say this before we get up out of here. One, I really appreciate everybody who stuck around for this one. This was a long one. I really appreciate everybody, chiming in the chat. I appreciate those of you who called. If you haven't already, no matter where you're watching and listening, if you haven't already, please go to the YouTube page. Click that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really need that. It helps the show grow. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna do this Saturday night. This is a regular, and we try to get in during the week as well, Wednesday or Thursday. I'm gonna shoot for Wednesday this week, so we'll see. Probably we'll have another live this Wednesday. Again, if you love the show, man, please make sure you're telling other sports fans about it. As you can tell here, we are not just repeating the ESPN and Fox Sports 1 talking points. We are not about that. We're going to keep it 100. We're going to tell it how we see it. We have intelligent people in the chat, intelligent people who call in, and they're going to tell it how they see it, and we appreciate all of that. So thank you so much for being with us tonight, and we are going to let it go from here. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and we're out. We'll be back next time. Peace.
Y'all be easy.